for the cues and that type of thing.
Okay.
And also too, if you got Facebook, if you wanted to do it from there, you can also do it from there. But since you got a YouTube channel,
I don't get on my Facebook. Listen, the last time I've been on that, that's like you have a Facebook for like the family.
I had them too. Yeah, that was yeah. I don't really get on it that much.
That's for them on that side of town.
I got you. I got you.
I don't get on there. I mean, I ain't gonna get on there.
Okay.
I'm like, I'm lying. I ain't getting. I ain't getting on that.
All right, yeah. Let's see. Okay, so I guess we'll do as they roll in, we'll move forward. But so everybody, we're back again for part 3 for my chart reading and interpretation. We have Sun Goddess Astrology, and
Hello,
she's
hello.
going to be just breaking down some of my charts. She's going to be doing some comparisons. And if you guys have any questions, it's okay to type them in the pertaining to the reading. Type them inside of. So we're trying to just stay on track. We got to get with the program because we be out here like in these spiritual streets for like 2-3 hours.
Oh yeah, right now.
Yeah. So if you have a question, feel free to put it in the comments, and I'll see that. Okay. So, all right. I guess we can go ahead and get started. You want to talk about what we will focus on for today?
Yeah, sure. I still had a couple little points that I found that I wanted to talk to you about in your chart.
Okay.
And then also when I was watching the video from last week, I know that I kept flopping from rulerships. So okay, so when it comes to Pisces, Pisces is ruled by Neptune
Okay.
traditionally, and then the modern ruler, like nowadays,
Okay.
it's ruled by Jupiter. So
Okay.
when I'm talking, I forgot to say that they have 2 rulers. So I was
Okay.
like, oh no, not this one, no, that one, but it's actually both.
Okay. Okay.
So if a planet is aspecting either of those, depending on which one it is, and if it's a hard aspect or not, then you kind of make the choice.
Okay.
But
How,
it's
how will we know which one to look for? Whether it be
if they're aspected, if they connect at all. But you can look at both. So say if you have a question about, we'll say you want to know what your husband's going to look like, right?
mm-hmm.
Okay, so you look to Jupiter and you say, okay, well, I will need my husband to possess these type of qualities. But then you say, okay, well, I'm not really getting, a roundabout picture of who he would be. What about anything I need to make sure I'm not delusional about when it comes to him? So you'll see if, your Venus is aspected by Neptune, and you'll see, well, possibly maybe this person could have had a history of drugs, maybe if it's hard aspected.
I get
Because
you.
Neptune drugs, but then it's your partner because they're both connected to Venus.
I get it.
But it was just, and also too, you have Capricorn that's ruled by Saturn, but then you have Aquarius that is also ruled by Saturn, but then it's also ruled by Uranus.
Okay.
So you're gonna hear me flopping through both, and I'm like, no,
Okay.
this one, that
Okay.
one.
Okay.
But it's both.
Okay.
Both.
I got you.
Traditional, and then we have modern. So
Is that something?
it was a certain point that some astrologers hadn't yet discovered the planets,
Mm-hmm.
certain planets or certain qualities about them. And so the more they learned about them, then they chose to expand, and they found Jupiter, and then they found Uranus. And, so
Okay.
they ended up adding those and saying those qualities related to this, or they related to this side.
Okay. Okay.
I will kind of flop. I'm not sure if I do it intuitively or if I'm just like, oh, I was watching the video, like I should have clarified that. So they don't think it's in a Freudian slip, because it's both. It's not one.
Okay.
Only those signs though. Okay, so that's Aquarius, is ruled by Saturn and Uranus.
Okay.
And then you have Pisces, that is ruled by Neptune and Jupiter.
Okay. And part of it too is probably because you know the stuff. You know what I mean? So when you know it,
But I wanted to clarify because I was like, damn, I kept jumping. And I was like, I wonder if anybody's sketching it. Like, is she sure? Yeah. I am sure. I just should have clarified. They do have 2 rulers. Like, Leo only has the sun.
Okay.
Venus, has 2 signs, but they're both ruled by Venus.
I got you.
Yes.
Okay.
So let me go ahead and let me prep your chart, because also today I wanted to we'll actually have the visualization charts for you and Regina. Okay. So we're gonna do that, touch on that for a little bit, and then I want to actually go in and show how I came up with your solar return, which is all of the stuff that we discussed on the very first video.
Okay.
So I want to definitely go in and just make sure that I show, like, okay, well, this is how I got it. This is where I went. in case anybody that's watching, they want to just, if they're curious, they just want to see themselves.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's up to you if you want to do that first, and then towards the end, we could do it with you and Regina, since we did kind of cover the points, we just didn't have the visualization.
Okay. Let's do it. You wanna?
Okay, cool.
Okay.
Let me bring it up.
Did that work the way I sent it for it to they split up on the same?
When I ended up putting it up and changing the view and stretching it, it worked fine. And then also too, because I switched my mode from I had to do some tweaking in the preferences.
Okay.
Because of the presentation, it was like, making it choppy for me, but I should be able to show it. I shouldn't have any issues at this point. I did forgot to ask you though. Now, did you want me to do the solar return on your chart or mine? Because your information show for like a brief second, only like to show where you go and you point, or did you want me to just do straight into it?
However you want to do it. I'm gonna let you do it. If you want to use mine, you can use mine.
Okay. No, I just don't want that piece of your information to show.
I see.
I have to,
press
on a couple things, and then it will show your date of birth and all, your information and stuff like that. I don't want that part to show. So I just want to see if you just want me to just follow it on my chart, and then I show yours. Hey, this is how we got here, but this is what we're looking at.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't want to. I gotta ask y'all. You do have some people that do believe that your birth chart is sacred. It is, but it's not. It's not bad. Hey, how
you doing?
That's Christina.
Very well.
Good to meet you.
I had hair back then. What's up?
Who over there?
She is the astrologist, and she is
doing a little astrology today.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good. You guys busy?
Yeah,
we are. We're trying to be.
Good. I'm not gonna interrupt.
Okay.
I'll go downstairs.
Okay.
Good to meet you.
Good to meet you too. Hello, somebody.
Hello, somebody.
Oh, that's right.
All right, you guys have fun.
Listen,
all right.
First, can you go by Boys and get us some soup?
Boys Kitchen?
Yeah.
What you?
I want what I normally get, but with the bean sprouts, same thing. No noodles.
Send me a text message.
Okay.
You want me to go to Cool Spring?
No, you can go to this one over here. I think they're open. Check and see if they're not open. Don't worry about it. Okay. Sorry about that for everybody in YouTube land. Had a little short diversion.
I'm gonna lock the door.
Okay. All right, we're ready.
Okay. Let me. So I'll show from just how to get there through my chart.
Okay.
And then I'll make sure I click out the screen streaming, and then I'll do yours. Okay. So let me go ahead and bring it up.
Hey, Pinky, and hey, Crown, how y'all doing?
All right, I'm go ahead and share it on the screen. Oh, there it is, Shell. Okay, so once you guys have already gone on to astroseek.com and you have already clicked on to the free horoscopes and the birth chart online calculator, enter your information as best as you know how. We don't know the time, just put 12 noon, and you're going to have to work from that point. We know that your sun sign will be correct, and you can just kind of take note of the other planets. And if you don't know anything at all, always scroll down to the very, very bottom. It goes all the way down. It'll tell you what your ascendant is, the place, the physical personalities, what's the ruler, any other aspects that it may, and you can continue all the way down if you just need information on a basic level of your chart. Yeah, so today we're just gonna. Oops, sorry. Go ahead.
When you say what is the ruler, you mean what? Which planet is the ruler of which particular house? Is that what you mean?
Okay. Yeah. So it'll start like from mine. The first house, I have it in Scorpio, so it'll put first house ascendant. It'll show you what kind of physical attributes this person may have, who is also a Scorpio ascendant. It'll tell you the ruler is Pluto, but also Mars as well. So it's going to tell you Pluto is in the first house. This is what this means on a basic level by being in the first house. And then it's going to say, okay, well, this is what this means for the second house, third. If these places have planets, obviously. If it's empty, then they won't put anything about it. And it'll also show your key to the side, which is just showing you the planets and then the degrees. And then alongside, it'll tell you the house. The R's you see right here just mean that the planets were retrograde, which means that energy is just directed internally.
Okay.
So I have Saturn in the second house, which is the house of self-worth. And Saturn is something that is built. It takes time. So that is something that I have to always, growing up, internalize. So my self-worth is internalized. It's really nothing external that can hinder it. So that's what the R would mean. If you have any R's, and it's a tiny little R. If you're looking on the actual chart, it's tiny, but it's there. But you can see it more to the right-hand side.
Okay.
Okay. So once you've taken a look at all of those things, you're going to go again to this key on this right-hand side. If you were looking at any type of current transits to see what's going on in the sky right now, then we'd press transit, and that would capture our birth chart here along with the transit planets in the sky right now. So, but since we're not doing that, we're just going to show how I got Boujee's information from the first show, just to let her know what to expect for her year ahead. So because Boujee's birthday is in December, I had to click on 2023, as well as my birthday was in August. It has not passed for 2024 as we're only in February, unless you just had your birthday from January 1st to today. Then you can click 2024. If your birthday has not happened in that month and a half span, do not click 2024. You must click the year before because your birthday has not passed in 2024.
Got it. Got it.
So once you have selected solar return 2023, again, unless your birthday just passed, it's going to pop up like this. So at the top in blue, we have your birth chart, same information, whatever it is. And then we have our solar return. The solar return is just your sun going back from the time you were born all the way around your natal chart for the year back to its resting point. So this is the way that it comes up. The two charts are now stacked on top of each other. The orange is your solar, which if you notice, the only planet that's in the same spot is the sun. Hold on, let me see. Okay, right here. That's the only planet that has returned back.
I can't see it. When you point to something, I can't see it.
Did it pop up?
No. So I'm looking at the same chart.
Oh, well, actually, it's two. It's two.
Okay. Okay, got you. But when so point at something so I can see if you. I think because.
Oh, I clicked out.
Okay.
So let me go to the second page.
Okay.
Okay, so it don't automatically switch over. Okay, that's all right. That's all right.
I mean, we just got, it just helps to know, that it doesn't do that. So, for the next person.
Okay, cool.
Okay, now, can you add it to the screen or do I need to add it to the screen? I have been. Can you add it to the screen, edit, or no? You don't have to. I just wonder if you have the ability to add.
Oh, no.
Okay, cool. All right, I got you. There you go.
Okay, so that's both of the charts together. Can you see me moving on that one?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, cool. So basically all I did was I went ahead and selected the solar return 2023.
Mm-hmm.
It placed me on this page here. So that's my birth chart at the top, the information, and then the solar is orange.
Okay.
Okay, so all this is right here is just showing me that the two charts are, the orange is solar, the blue is natal, and then we see every other planet has shifted somewhere except for the sun. The sun is back right where it was when I was born.
I see.
Okay, and if we want to look at it by itself, we look at solar only. It's right here.
Oh, wow.
And that's what it's going to look like. So this looks completely different than my birth chart because for this year, this is the energy that I will be taking on.
Okay.
So this year, I'm a Gemini rising. Does that mean that my Scorpio rising leaves? No, it just means for this year, I need to focus on these qualities to better. Well, this is my natal 8th house. So in order to strengthen my natal 8th house, this is what I need to do. I need to present those informations like what I'm doing now.
Mm-hmm.
So Gemini rising, that's my 8th house. I'm presenting things about astrology, which is like the occult, things that are hidden. It's a different type of science. It's things that people just don't know. You have to be taught. So that's what I'm doing now. I'm sharing, I'm communicating, I'm on social media, I'm online, I'm being more forward, I'm being more inquisitive, I'm adding more mental or intellectual stimulation through online. I'm already embodying that.
I see.
And then we have the second house is Cancer. We know is ruled by the moon. Also rules your self-worth in the second house, but also your finances. And whenever the second house is ruled by the moon, you can become very emotional when it comes to your finances. Things can be up and down. It fluctuates because it's ruled by the moon.
Okay.
So I have it in my third house, which means a lot of the times things emotionally in my environment. The third house is your immediate environment. It's your neighborhoods, it's your siblings. The third house is also online. It's a big communication house.
Mm-hmm.
So it could be emotionally me getting closer to a sibling, or me getting closer to doing things that are in my I'll say community. So maybe I joined a club up the street, or
Okay.
I'm now more friendly with my neighbor, something like that. Or so
Okay.
I could just be spending more time with my mother in local areas, because the
Okay.
moon is also your mother, and you continue so on and so forth. And that's kind of how I'll figure out what I want to do for like the year. I always look at the fifth house because I'm a single woman, so I look at the fifth house for lovers always.
Mhm.
And then I
Okay.
see the ruler of Venus. I mean, the ruler of Libra is Venus, is in my third house, and I have met people at like a food restaurant, and like we're dating, something like that. But again, the fifth house is just your lovers. It's not your committed partner.
Okay.
And then I'll go up and say, okay, well, I wonder how work is going to be for me. I have Scorpio on the sixth house. So I know that Scorpio is investigative. It could be very spiritual. There's a death, a transformation, a rebirth there for things that I do every day. So sixth house is things you do every day. Also, it's your daily habits. It could be your mental health, because that is a part of your health, mental, physical, spiritual. And that health is a house as well. And then seventh house is relationship. Eighth house is going to be shared resources with other people. And ninth house, we have higher education. 10th house, career. 11th house, friends. 12th house, we have, it could be, the 12th house could be, it's a spiritual house. It could be your dreams. It could be, your any type of unconscious activity. It could be jail, it could be prison. Again, it don't have to be for you. It could be for other people. It's also a house of self-undoing. So if I had any type of very terrible habits, I hate to say it, but drug habits or something that were like really out of control, that particular house will let me know that Uranus there will probably let me know, oh, I'll probably end up in a mental institution. Like just randomly, and I'll probably be there for a couple of days. Like it's in the chart, like it's there if I had those issues.
I see.
And again, this is just for the year. So
Uh-huh.
for this year, I'm Gemini rising, and then the sun will never change. I'm still a Leo sun. That never changes. But now I'm also a Leo moon. I'm not a Virgo rising in the energy in the year. That doesn't mean my analytical stuff and all that sharp mind, perfectionism, attention to detail, it's not going to leave me. It's
Mhm.
just I'm leaning more into the Leo qualities.
I got it.
So this is how I follow the information for you. Although this is for mine, I'm just showing this for education purposes. But this is how I followed it for yours.
I see. I see.
This looks a lot like your natal chart.
I would agree with you on that. I really would.
Yeah. But that's very ironic that I am embodying what you already have done already.
Wow. So let me ask you this too. I noticed, in case anybody doesn't know that, the blue line and the red lines, they mean different things.
Yes.
Okay.
So we have the blue line. There's two blue lines, a short one and a long one.
Uh-huh.
Short line, that is sextile, which is it just means 2 houses down. That's all it means, just 2 houses down.
Okay.
So sextiles, 2 houses down. The red line is 3 houses down. The long blue line is 4 houses down. So no matter what house you start on, right? Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so you got Pluto right here in the 8th house. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
count 2 houses down, 1, 2. That's a short blue line.
I see.
You count the 8th house again. You say, okay, we count 4 house for the long blue one. 1, 2, 3. That's 4. That's the long blue line. That's trine. The long one is trine. The short one is sextile. Those are considered soft or more receptive aspects.
Mm-hmm.
The longer one, the trine, is probably like I guess people would say would be the better one, because it just flows. You don't have to do anything. Whatever the energy sees or it is best to happen will happen with little effect from you, right? The short blue, a little action. And the red line, it won't happen unless you do something about it. So the red line is square. That's always 3 houses. So most of the time when it's square, again, we don't control where the planets are. It's there for a reason. It's there for you to see where you are not being more either receptive, depending on the planet, because there's some planets that are receptive, that have that energy already, just meant are feminine planets. Then you have the other ones that you have to do something. Like we know Aries is a very action oriented. Mars is very action oriented. It likes when you do.
Okay.
And then you have other planets that get initiated externally that you don't do anything. It's just, somebody triggers it.
Okay. When you say square,
yes.
What does that mean?
Okay, square just means tension. So if we're right here in the 12th house, right? Remember, square is the only red line. It's the only red line.
Okay.
Right? Actually, it's 2 red lines. Sorry, it's 2. We have a long one in the middle.
Okay.
But the short red line is square, so it just means 3 houses away. So we're starting here at 12. You don't count the house you're in, right?
Okay.
We have 1, 2, 3. It's going to match up somewhere here every single time. That's square. Square is like tension. The energy doesn't easily flow. It's not easily being received. So it needs to be sparked by something you're doing. You need to do it. Since there's no flow, there's something stopping it there.
Wow. So I do notice that some of the lines are lighter and some of the lines are darker. Does that mean anything?
Yeah, if it's closer and if it's stronger. So any hard aspect that has to do with Pluto, we know Pluto, the energy is pretty strong, and if it's tight. So when I say tight, that means the degrees are not that far away. So let me see. Okay. Did you see me change it?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. Okay.
I saw it.
Okay, so let's see one that's pretty close. Okay, they all pretty much lightened up now. All right. Well,
it's amazing. So you're actually, that's live, right?
Yes, this is okay. So the orange is the solar, right? Okay. That's what moves. You asked me last time, do the planets move? Everything else moves except for your sun sign, which my sun sign is here. It returned back to 22 degrees when I was born. It went right back there. So your sun sign never, ever changes.
Okay.
Right? Gotcha. But we have points where all the other energy in our lives, it progresses. We do have a progress chart where in that progress chart, it'll shift down. But as far as like every year, your sun stays the same, but the other energies change because they need you to adapt that new energy into what you already know. So the natal, which is blue, that's my natal moon, and that's the sign of Virgo. That's right there. And then for the solar return, it now puts my moon in Leo, right? So it's telling me I need to be more creative emotionally, using my emotions to create, or feeling more childlike in my emotions, allowing myself to express more childlike.
I see.
Instead of being so, for me, I would say rigid for me, because I can be a little serious.
Yes, I was going to say that.
Yeah. Be a little serious. It's not intentional. It is the moon sign. Because most people, and I guess I know my moon sign so well for Virgo, we grow up fast, and it doesn't matter if you're the oldest, the middle, the young. You're the one that takes care of everybody. You're the one that was a little bit sharper than the rest of them.
I see.
You figure things out quickly, and so you get into this point of when everybody's like, "Girl, have fun, chill, let your hair down." You're like, I can't, because if you fuck up, I'm gonna get blamed. But that's the way it is. You take on the parenting role quick.
I see.
So I am very serious.
I get it. And that's cool.
Unintentional, right?
Yeah.
But
it's one of your characteristics.
Yeah, it is. It is. It's helpful, right? It's helpful to keep me disciplined, because the procrastination is serious.
I struggle with that. Well, I have struggled with that. I've been getting better with that. This is supposed to be my year to resolve that.
Yeah.
That one thing, because that one thing can actually rule a lot of things in my life, right?
It's your moon sign. It's that damn Virgo moon, man. Because we can't help it. Like we're judging ourselves so bad to the point where it leaves you stuck.
Yes.
You got to push past, because once you do it, everybody's like, "Oh man, you're doing so great," and you're like, "Damn, I am doing great, huh?" you done told yourself all of these things that are, it's a thing. Right?
Okay. Okay.
Thing.
All right.
It's a thing. Okay, so all right, so that's what it's asking of me this year. Again, the orange is just for the year. So that's what the year is asking me. The year is asking me again to be more childlike, energetic, allow my inner child to express more. And I know that because the moon for the year has moved into Leo.
Okay.
So that's I'm knowing that.
And Leo rules creativity.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
Oh, okay. I'm getting a little bit.
Yes. And I actually I forgot to mention this last time because Leo will be in the 5th house if Aries is the first. You count 5 houses down. The 5th house is my bad. 5th house is Leo.
Okay.
Also, I was reading one of my astrology books, and a lot of times people ask, "How do you know what the sign is about?" So every bless you.
Sorry.
I don't know why we always do that. Bless you. Oh shit. All right, let's get back on task. We talked about that last time.
No.
Okay, so Aries, the saying for Aries is I am.
Okay.
It's always Aries. Aries is always about the self. It's about you. It's about what you should be doing, what you need to initiate. It's you.
Okay.
So if anybody's wondering how I knew, like, oh, it's an Aries, how do you know it's external and not, internal? No, Aries is you. It's the self.
See.
Aries is traditionally the first house. The first house is the self.
Okay.
Okay, that's my first chart. Okay. And then you have the next house is Taurus. Mm-hmm. Taurus is I have. I'm gonna actually see if I could bring up if I could bring up those charts. Now that I done figured it out. Okay, hold on, y'all. That way y'all can see it while I'm saying it, and you know what I'm talking about. Okay, pop that up for me, please.
That is okay. Oh wow.
Okay, so my bad, y'all. I'm trying to go to the.
Okay.
Okay, so let's see. Okay, are y'all able to see it?
Yes.
Cool.
So we're looking at the chart that has the wheel. Is that right? Is that what you want us looking at? Okay.
Yes, 2 wheels. Hold on, let me make it a little bit bigger. Okay, you see it, right? The astrological house themes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this is what I was talking about last time. This is where I get a lot of the keywords from. You can find this online. You just type in astrological house themes, and it will let you know which each house, what it relates to, and you can literally just pick one of the words at a time. Depending on the sign, you match it up with the sign trait. If there's a planet there, you match up the planet, and you can pretty much chart your whole thing together. You can figure it out. You can piece it together. To the right, we have the house rulership, the modality, and the element. Again, the element is just fire, water, earth, wind, or air.
Literal.
The modality is we have fixed signs, mutable signs, which is ever changing. We know fixed is rigid, slow to change. And then we have, I believe, cardinal. Cardinal is initiator, the signs that initiate.
Okay.
And so again, here we have the first house, which is here. You see Aries. They have Aries under the trailblazer. We know the element is fire, and it's a cardinal sign because it's used to initiate. These are things that you initiate. The key words for Aries is I am.
Got it. I just wrote that down.
So when you associate anything with Aries, we know Aries can be passionate. Aries have a tendency to be a little hot-headed. They could be quick. They could also be very aggressive. It just depends on the person. But they basically do everything kind of fast, pretty fast.
Okay.
So you'd put I am, or someone that's driven. So you might say I am, and then the one key word for Aries, you'll say, oh, I am passionate. That's your word for Aries. That's your sentence of, for Aries, for your chart sign. And you'd add in one more keyword for the house. If it's the first house, You can say, I am passionate about, you pick one keyword from the first house and you put, I am passionate about my approach to life. You've now created one sentence for your first house. I added the sign, I added the traits, and I added one keyword from the house themes.
Gotcha.
Okay. And, you continue around. So the second house we have here, that's for Taurus. The same for Taurus is I have. Okay. Because the second house rules your possessions. We look over to the left. What are some of your possessions? Your income, things that you value, your material possessions, your habits, your job, your work ethic. That's how I know I have. So people talk to you, okay, well, what is the things that I have? It's speaking about your second house.
Okay.
Okay, so for you, that could be luxury. It could be, you make money doing, your anything. You could be selling clothes. You have your pendulums. You have anything. That's your second house. That's how you make your money. That's not your job.
I see. Okay.
And that's why Taurus is often associated with material possessions like money, luxury, good things. Venus is money.
Okay.
So that's just other little ways of how astrologers put the signs, the planets, and the house together.
Okay.
And so Gemini, you hear me often say it, well, Gemini rules the third house. How do I know? It's here on the right-hand side. It's the third house. Right? Because we go by the seasons begin in Aries. The year begins in Aries season. That's why Aries is the first house. It moves on to Taurus, and it moves on to Gemini, and it continues all the way around the wheel. Just in case somebody came in and didn't know what the hell we were talking about.
Will you send me that one right there? Because I don't have that one.
Oh, for sure. I got you.
The second one. Okay. I think this is so interesting.
Oh, yeah, I got you. So when I'm saying, oh, yeah, Gemini rules the third house, but when we're looking at, your chart, you're like, that's not the third house. That's the first. I'm just saying natally, that's where it is. So in my mind, I have to go through all of those different sections. Even though your Gemini is in the first house, it still has those qualities.
I see.
Right. And so the only difference you'll say, okay, well, if your first house is Gemini, because you're a Gemini rising, you say, okay, well, I know Gemini is a mutable sign, and mutable, they have to adapt. They have to keep changing. They have to be able to adapt with their circumstances or their surroundings. And you say you have it in the first house. So I say, okay, I know the first house is new beginnings, it's appearances, the self, the body, first impressions, or attitude. And I say, okay, well, when I first met you, you was a little chatty. Yeah. And I know that Gemini rules sociability and social and talking, communication. And I know that that's the first impression. That's the first thought about you. And I may ask, okay, well, what's your rising sign? And you say, I'm a Gemini rising. You say, yep. That's how it works. That's how it works. To me, it sounds so simple to me, but I'm just trying to, kind of show just how you can take time. Yeah, how you can take time and do it. No, it won't be perfect.
Right. I'm sorry. Just take one little thing at a time and focus on it the way you're teaching it.
Yeah, because we know you got to add in transits. You have to add in all of those other pieces. So it's going to continue to, add on layers. But this is how I begin everybody's chart. I always look for like small indicators. If a planet is in that specific house, I'll go to that house and see how the planet feels there as well. So I just wanted people to see this is how I'm finding everything. I'm not pulling it out of my ass. This is where I'm getting it from. I do, however, like to build on to the house themes because, like I said, this is just a beginning place. And a lot of things I'll pick up online or from reading in different books, and I'll just keep adding it into it because it is endless. And there are also places that represent certain planets, right? So you have somebody, they may say, oh, I feel like Florida is Uranus because you don't know what the hell going on there. Because they also go by the birth chart of the place.
Okay.
So I'm just making that part up, but it does work like that. Every place that was funded has a birth chart, and it correlates to like different sun signs. Absolutely. Every place, every state, they have a date when it was funded. They have a date when it was established, when the town was established. Yeah. And they go by that and they bring up the astrology chart and they could tell you what the people down there are like and what the money's like and what the land is like and potentials for things occurring. Yeah. That's how some astrologers, they'll stick to that type of work, because they'll look up certain states and they'll say, oh, this happened in Atlanta and it was this big riot and da 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 da, and they look at the date that it happened and the date it was funded, and they say, damn, yeah, they were having their Pluto return, or they were having their Mars conjunct here, and it brought so much destruction. That's how they're able to figure it out.
Wow. So
it's patterns that they follow.
So would that include like establishments and things like that when they were going to establish?
Everything has a birth chart. And for women who are watching, ladies who are watching, if you wanted to be curious about just where your emotions are going to be in the next 30 days, you can look up the start of your moon cycle, your period. You can look it up. I mean, you don't have to know the exact time, but you say, yeah, I know it came on in the middle of the night. You can for sure type that in.
Wow.
Because it's going to give you a chart. There's also times when you may ask a question. You may say, oh, should I start this business knitting, right? I have to write down it's 8/14, February 10th, the year, and I can go look that up. There's a chart for the time you ask me that question. And there's an answer there. It's called horary, Horary. And that's a very specific type of chart reading.
I like that one.
Yeah, that one. Now that requires a very specific skill.
Yeah.
And I will say, people, if you're the type that likes things that give you further clarification, so you do have your pendulums, that's one aspect. And horary is considered a form of divination, because it does get you. It has to be the exact time that you ask the question, down to the minute. Now you have to. That's a very important thing. And the time that you ask, there's certain indicators. Like I said, I haven't studied it a lot, but I do know there are certain indicators that will let the astrologer know if they should even read the chart further. Like, I believe one of the examples is if you ask during a void of course, which is a time when the moon does not make any aspects to any planets. There's a time. It happens every couple of days or so. Mm-hmm. And during that time, nothing's being aspected to the moon. So if they see that at the top of the chart, when they cast it for this time for your question, they don't read the chart. It basically tells them you need to ask again later.
Okay. That's that maybe with your pendulum. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. So there are tricks to this. When people call it, they say, "Oh, I don't believe in it." Right. It's nothing to believe. It's a science,
and I never thought about that, and I was just like, okay, well, I'm just a Capricorn. But what about the other pieces? I was like, I don't know.
Oh yeah.
And you hear the people knowing things. I was like, how do they know? I was like, that don't really matter. But I could see now that it kind of does. Not kind of, but it does.
No, it does. It does.
Yes.
No, it does. But you know what's so funny? Listen, people always go with the negative stereotypes, right? Because it is really funny. I'm not gonna lie. When I hear the stories about Leos, I be like, oh my God, it's so funny. Because a lot of it is true. It's just you don't show that piece of it, per se. You don't show it, but that doesn't mean you don't have it. That doesn't mean you don't have it. It's there.
So when you hear stuff like that, knowing that you're, what you know about astrology, and do you feel that even though they have a lack of knowledge around it and you have more, do you feel like that if you attempted to explain it, you wouldn't get it, or there would be like resistance to it, just for some people that you may have overheard a conversation or whatever?
What's funny? When I was working for the Matrix, girl, but when I was on that job, my last job, I used to I was in class learning how to do charts. I wasn't perfect. I was literally just learning, and I just couldn't stop doing it. So when I was at work, I would ask them, Gen Z, they for some reason they know their damn birth time, different generation. Right. And so I was like, girl, what's your birth time? Let me look this up. I even made this girl cry because I was telling her about her 5th house. I was like, girl, make sure you don't have no babies by these type of men. And I was just talking about her because I also was learning, and she was saying it. I was just talking. So I didn't know if I was accurate or not, because she wasn't saying nothing. So she was just kind of sitting there, and I was like, well, okay, well, I was like, my bad. If it's wrong, I'm still learning. I'm being super apologetic, because I was learning. And I ended up being right. She ended up walking away and going to the bathroom.
So I didn't know.
She said, I didn't believe in astrology before, you know, because I just felt like it just was so silly. I would read the paper and it would give me these, you know, rainbow type cookie cutter. I said, yeah, because it's satire. It's not supposed to actually give you the truth of what's going to happen in your life. Like, bitch, you about to lose some money right now. A bill is about to come and hit you across your damn head. No, it's not going to tell you that. It's going to tell you, oh, if you go to the grocery store and you see a man in a red shirt, that's your husband. Like, you're going to get that bullshit.
Yeah.
So of course people are not gonna like it because they think it's bullshit. But what you're reading is bullshit. But once you start learning your psychology, you start learning your triggers. And the thing about astrology is there's no way for me to read certain things and know it to be true because you know yourself better than I know you. So if it's wrong, you say no, that's wrong. That's not me. But not on you not taking accountability for what I'm saying, but you seriously just not being connected to it.
I see.
Because astrology definitely pointed out some things in me that I didn't see as a problem. Like with the Virgo moon, I always felt like, because I have my 4th house is in Aquarius. Aquarius, yes, they're very innovative. Yes, they're futuristic thinkers, but they have a tendency to be very detached, very aloof, very separate. They have this feeling of separateness, right? And so that's my 4th house. So that's how I always feel. Like no matter what, I always feel like people don't really relate to me. If you ever want to know anybody, like how they are in their private life, look at their 4th house, because that's something that they're not going to tell you. Like, you know, if you're the type, you know, you have Virgo in the 4th house, nobody clean your damn house the way you clean your damn
house. I'm trying to look at my 4th house and see.
You have Virgo. Yeah, Virgo. So listen, okay, so it's like, okay, so you cleaning up, right? And your boyfriend coming, he cleaning up, and you're like, okay, no, thank you, babe. And you're like, clean this damn house up. He ain't did nothing.
Right.
But it's so bad. It's just that's just who you are.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
When you're out,
sweep the floor.
When you're out, you're probably gonna do it. Or you could be in restaurants and you don't even notice. You're already stacking the shit for the lady. You don't realize you're doing it, but you can't help it.
Yes, I do that.
Yeah.
I need to get a closer look at myself so I can trick people.
I'm telling you.
But it is though. It's the truth.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah. So the 4th house is that's what I would do. Like, so I would bring up people's chart who were so against astrology or they felt like it wasn't real. Yeah. And I would just pick something that I know this damn house. I know this sign. Like for most people who we have the same signs, and the girl happened to be a Virgo moon. I said, I don't need this shit. I know me. I know who you are. I just need, but that's how it is. When you know your chart and you really know yourself, truthfully, that means you know the little fucked up things you do too. You know it. You know that Virgo moons, yes, we are very intelligent, but we can be very condescending.
Yes.
It's there.
Is that like, is it kind of?
It depends on who you asking if it's bad or not.
So it could be on purpose and accidentally.
It's again, Virgo, that's the only sign in the zodiac that's human. So that logic is a lot more serious than other signs. So I don't want to say good or bad. It's just that attention to detail is very serious. So like the psychology of Virgo, it's just, you can't help it. It's not in a narcissistic way. It's not narcissistic like I'm putting you down, but it's the high level thinking and speaking that it could sound like, bitch, what are you talking to? Like, but you don't mean it. You don't mean that's why. Okay. So when I always say Virgos, anybody with a Virgo, see, Virgo is ruled by Mercury. Mercury is the planet of communication, right? Anybody with Virgo placements or Gemini as well, because it's also ruled by Mercury, you have a tendency to be a smartass. Like it is what it is. Like because it's ruled by Mercury, so it's a planet of communication. You really can't help it. It's a planet of the mind.
That's one of those things that you kind of have to be conscious of. The
right.
Okay. Because sometimes I do, and sometimes I do, but for the right person, I'm not. But for the wrong person, I am. Like it's really crazy.
Yeah.
And then it can cross over. Like it don't even fucking matter who it is. Like that. And I kept thinking. So that's the reason why one day I was talking to my guys, and I was like, maybe I need to tone it down. They was like, nope, because no, you need to be you. Well, of course, because that's who I am.
Yeah.
And I don't mean to sometimes, and that that's painful sometimes because somebody can misinterpret what you're saying when all you speaking is like the truth, but you're not
Yeah.
trying to come across like that, but it does sometimes.
But yeah, again, that's how that's how you grow up. That's why when I see people with any placement that is like, again, I know my chart front and back. I know how I feel and what I've read and what I've learned, and again what I've healed through. So I'm like, oh, I know that when I see it.
Yeah.
I know it when I see it. So when I see somebody that's a Virgo moon, and she was a little younger than me, the girl from my old job. So it's like I had already been out of that healing. Like I had already followed that page, so I could recognize. So I was empathetic. But as I was talking to her and I was telling her, like, yo, make sure you're just more aware of this and this and this and that. And she was like, well, how do you know? I'm like, I already been there.
Yeah.
You have the sign. I know that if I'm asking you, are you journaling? Do you do this? Do you do that? You telling me no. Oh, it's not even the age. I know you're not spiritually there yet. So let me pass this on to you.
So let me answer this. And this is not an age thing. This is a thing. It doesn't matter how young, because you think about the age differences in different people. It definitely is not even a factor, right?
No. It's the strength of the planet. That's all it is.
Yeah.
Because you will hear some people say, depending on where the planet is, it's in its fall, it's in its detriment, it's not its strongest, right?
Yeah.
So because we know Mercury rules Virgo and Gemini, my Virgo is, my Mercury is in Virgo. So it's strong enough when people think about it, but it's like I already know myself. So when I hear it and then I look at somebody's chart and I'm like, oh, you're a smart ass. But I like it because I'm like, it's people, you're needed. Them slick things we grow up and your parents say, oh, them slick ass remarks. People need that little jab, because it's not to be nasty, it's to push them. Because even for what we're doing right now, when you were like, you can go live if you want to though, but you ain't got to if you don't want to. But in my mind, I'm like, I ain't no punk. I'm gonna go. You ain't gonna ask me if I'm gonna go live, and I don't. But see, I can feel the little nudge, right? Because it's no ill intention there, but that's what most Virgo placements do. They have to like push you, especially if you say something, they're gonna hold you to what you say.
You know what? That is true.
Oh, you did say you was gonna do it, so if it was me, I would. We do shit like that, but it's in good nature, right? It's in good nature.
It is. It is. And now that you say that, I recognize that there's so many pieces in facets in my life where I actually do that.
Yeah. You know? Yeah. So now every time you see somebody chart, they got a Virgo moon or any Virgo placement, in your mind, you be like, let me see if I recognize any of this in me. Do I be acting like this? And 9 times out of 10, you're like, oh my God, I be acting like that. So I don't get why people be like, I don't act like them. We do. Different times call for different things, different maturity levels.
Yes.
Different places in your life, different places in your healing. You probably don't respond like that anymore because you've elevated.
Yeah.
But that don't mean you're not that. You're still that person, though.
I think it's just the way that I do it. Now that you say that, the way that I do it before was more probably intentional, not really care, reckless. But now I'm not reckless like that. But unless you coming for me, and I can get really reckless. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
No, I feel you. We switch in and out for when we need to.
Yeah, I am a switch on that. Yes, I am.
So yeah, that's basically what I do. If I feel like somebody just like, oh, astrology is whatever, I always ask them to see their chart if they're open. Obviously, nothing against them. I actually don't look up people's charts that are not open to it.
Yes.
Unless we dating, and that's different because that's my business. So I'm gonna look. I'm gonna look that shit. I'm looking up because I need to see what you're bringing. Ladies, if you dating somebody, look up his goddamn chart. I don't care nothing about that. Yeah. Somebody gonna tell you the information. Just if not, Google his ass. It's fine.
The 12 noon, because most time they're not gonna give you their birth time until later on.
A lot of them don't know.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
That's why don't say you wrong though.
You're right.
It don't say you wrong. It's never too far off, right? Unless they just happen to be born at like midnight. Obviously, that's the whole other end of the clock. Or if they were born at 6 p.m., then you'll notice. But there's little things that they'll do. Mm-hmm. And again, if you're learning, don't expect to know every single keyword. Use Google, child. That's what I do.
Yeah.
Let me remember. A lot of things you're gonna hear over and over and over and over again because that's gonna be your first mind. But you learn how to build onto those things. And not just like for Scorpio, people always say, oh, Scorpio is death and rebirth, but it's also something else, and it's something else, and it's something else. And you just keep adding in and in and in and in. It's also fear, it's paranoia, it's digging things down from the root, it's mysteries, it's secrets, and of course we know people know what it's sex. But there's more than one. But people just always go for the death and rebirth thing, which is nothing wrong with it, but we gotta build our library,
Yes, that's right. That's right. But like you have a vast vocabulary, same thing.
Yeah, little by little.
Yeah.
Like when we were talking about last time about the 12th house being Christ consciousness, I had never heard that. And like the almost the 2 years that I've been learning, I've never heard that. And then one day I'm watching a video on YouTube and the lady's like, oh yeah. And I came all the way into my Christ consciousness when this happened. I was like, bitch, what? Like, but that was her description of it. But instead of me dismissing it, I was like, write that shit down. Because it may fit for somebody else. If it don't fit for me, it may fit for them.
That's right.
So I always do that. I always listen, like, this mean this for you to have. Oh, let me write this shit down.
I see. So it's kind of like you are building.
Of course, always.
Okay.
Because again, we have places, states, clothes. Obviously, you have physical things like Aries. Aries also rules metal, different types of metals. So most of the time, welders they may have Aries placements. Like we have Leo, like on us, Leo rules creativity, but also we know Leo is the ruler of hair, your hair, right? So a person I have a Leo sun, my mom's also a Leo sun, she's a hairdresser. But maybe, if she didn't do hair, then it's the 5th house. Maybe she did something creative, something for hair or something with her hands, whatever's in that 5th house. So we kind of play with the traits. You also have the traits, and then you have the places, then you have the things that they rule. So you just kind of interjectively pull one thing at a time. So for you, you're Gemini rising, right? You say, okay, well, we already know you're social. We already know you're very bubbly. That's kind of how you move in your first impressions. That's who you are in the world. That's who you present yourself.
I'm actually like that no matter where, like work, at the grocery store. Hey, how you doing? And it's so
you're
weird.
naturally just very bubbly, very open. Like that's just who you are. It's not nothing fake. So it's like if somebody has never seen your chart and they go and look and they say, okay, like I get it.
I see. Okay.
Yeah. It's good shit, man. It's fun.
It is good.
It's fun. It's fun. Good. Look, you just need to know little things. We know Venus is for money. That's for your comforts. For men, I know people don't like the saying, but men are attracted to their moon sign. So if you were able to look up your partner's chart, their moon sign, I'm 100% sure if you're in a serious relationship that you probably do possess those qualities.
Okay.
Because it's very unlikely that men marry their moon sign, but they'll sleep with their Venus because that's just who they're attracted to, and most men are attracted to whoever.
Okay. Nasty dogs.
Listen. If they have their so the tea. So if the men have their Venus in Sagittarius, because Sagittarius is like a sign that doesn't like to be tied down. It's very free spirited. It's very like I'm going to go to school and I'm gonna backpack across the United States. So I'm gonna find myself. If his Venus is there, girl, you need to have more than one partner. Because he just likes a lot. Loves highly and freely, and he's attracted to many different things, comforts. Child, it's not for the weak. That's all I'm gonna say. It's not for the weak. But that's because the sign tells you that this is not a person that is very grounded like that.
They cannot be anchored. No anchoring for that individual as well.
Unless they want to.
Unless they want to.
It's
very interesting. Keith over there laughing. Keith, I'm just saying. Shit is wild that we learned it over here.
I'm telling you. But there's no one thing that makes a man, a rolling stone. It's just an observational point. It's kind of funny.
So if we were looking if someone wanted to look into their chart to see if this person would settle down, and specifically would they settle down with them. I'm not looking for that for myself to know that. But if a person was looking for that, what house would they need to look in for their partner? Is that the same one?
Well, if them and the person share certain planets in certain houses, so it's not just one house. You'd have to lay both of your charts together and make a synastry, which
Yeah,
is just you guys energy together, right?
yeah, yeah.
And it is best for your partner to have planets in your fifth house if you guys want children, right? Because fifth house we know rules children and creativity, and that's
Mm-hmm.
the house of creation. Whether it's a physical child or a business or something like that, it is nice to have a planet there. It could be any planet, to be honest. It could even be Saturn because yes, Saturn is restriction, but also Saturn, if you're doing the work and taking the time to build, you will be rewarded. So Saturn in a synastry chart is commitment. It's commitment. So if you have your partners, Saturn in your seventh house, more than likely, this is probably someone that you're going to be serious with. And Saturn is like something that is like Saturn rules time, like father time. So they're
Okay.
not out of the committed. Now, is it guaranteed marriage? If the Jupiter is aspected well, meaning there's no red line, it's not three houses down, and it's not directly across, which is 5 to 6 houses, which is the other long red line.
Okay.
Doesn't mean it will never happen. No, it means there's a lot of the energy's doing like this. Things may happen where you guys will set the wedding date and then it'll get pushed back and then something else will happen and we need to save more money than, especially if it's not in a receptive house or something like
Yeah. Maybe we could do one of those.
that. Yeah, for partners, yeah. We could do that definitely for part 4. We could do something like that.
Okay. Okay. All right.
That'd be nice. That'd be cool. Just to kind of see, and
Just
then yeah, for sure. But there's two. Let me say that. So there's the synastry chart of boyfriend, girlfriend, man and woman, whoever. If you are married, right, and if you are in a serious relationship, meaning they asked you to be their man and woman, not we just kicking it. No, I mean an actual agreement. Then you'll do a composite chart. So it won't be 2 charts stacked. It'll be one meshing of the energy. And that will tell you the overall energy of the relationship. Like,
did you say they have to be married or just committed?
both. But I mean, like, it has to be an actual commitment, not like, oh, we talking and we hooking up. No, I mean,
Okay.
like, y'all are, locked in. So it could be, of course, marriage, but it's commitment.
Of course, gotcha.
So it can't be somebody you're dating. So if I mean, I'm not saying you can't do it, but that energy is never going to manifest if you and a person are not serious. It's not.
I see. I got you.
So if you're the person that's serious, you're constantly, giving and receiving energy to this person constantly, depending on where your planets are, because you're not in a place to separate. You guys are trying to join and merge in finances and other things.
Gotcha. So this is good for people who live in the same house and that type of thing too.
Yeah, absolutely. If you're just curious, to see. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And you actually can do this actually can be done again on astroseek.com.
Mm-hmm.
Right at the top where that tab is you can click on it, the first one, and you scroll down, it'll say synastry chart. So you can actually do it and it will for free. It'll break it down and show you like this planet is aspecting this planet, and it'll give you a very brief description, and it'll tell you, and actually use the word good, bad, love, fight, because it's telling you what is likely to happen. Now, is it guaranteed? No, because again, we're in different places in our lives.
That's right.
I don't act like this anymore. This person don't act like this no more. So if you're in a serious relationship, you look at the composite, it'll be one chart, not 2 how we saw it stacked. It'll just be just one. Meaning the energy that you guys give together.
I got you.
Yeah.
Let me answer. Got you. Let me ask you this. Have you ever seen I was going to ask, have you ever seen okay, I don't forget what I was going to say. It'll come back to me. It's something about partnerships or something. It's something about a chart. It'll come back to me. All right.
Oh, you can do it for business too. It don't have to be just be romantic.
Oh yeah, that's good. That's a good one.
You can do business. I've seen a lot of people say, and it doesn't even matter what type of business, any. Remember, you can pull up a chart for anything. And some people say, I've actually had job interviews like for a yoga business, and they say, "Oh, what are your placements?" Because they may want somebody that has more Capricorn because they feel like you guys are gonna work no matter what. Your ass gonna stick to this job. You ain't gonna jump ship. So they make this certain things like that. Or if it's a banking job, they say, "Hey, we want you a little bit more of Virgo skills. I want you with this," because they're starting to do that now because more places want a different cohesiveness in their company, and so they are selecting it by astrological placements.
Right.
It's interesting.
Yeah. So hypothetically, let's just say hypothetically, and maybe we could get on this. I know you got your 100 charts. I know, but I know this chapter thing can go on part 3, part 4. I'm interested to know, for example, for like business. I remember you saying something about a business, the exact date that they started, or the exact date that you asked the question. Let's say hypothetically, I didn't ask myself about something that I want to do, but now that I know this, I could say, if I was to do X, Y, and Z, what would be the probability of it being a success? Now I know what I'm going to do. I know I have this procrastination bone that I'm working on, etc. But I could actually, at that moment in time, when I'm thinking about it, but what if I thought about it another time? Does that matter?
Oh, you know what? I'm not sure. Okay, so let's say this. So say before we even discussed the horary, right? You had no idea it existed.
Right.
So you were not aware. So it don't matter. It don't matter because you can't be held liable with something you're not aware of. If you didn't know it existed,
that makes sense.
We have so many questions in our mind, right? There's so many. But once you become aware of something, if I told you at 8:40 and now you're like, I got a question now. It is best to again write it down the moment you have it because it will be again the most accurate. Because with astrology, it's all about the timing.
So I'm not going to ask myself anything. I'm just trying to block out all thoughts about it.
Yeah, listen, it's in there. Like I've only ever done it like once or twice when I was trying to ask a question about like something I wanted to do. Matter of fact, I use astrology for everything. So if I was gonna go on a date with somebody, I would look that bitch up. Like, I'm gonna go on a date with so and so this Thursday, and it would be at the exact time or whatever. It may be planets in, say if it's Venus is in the 5th house, right? It means I may have some comforts in my 5th house. The 5th house is romance, it's dating, so I may get asked out on a date. Or if the Venus is positively has a little short blue line, a long blue line to Mars, or if the ruler of that specific chart I casted, which is the ruler is the house ruler, it'll tell me, oh, yes or no, what place it may be in, where we might go. It's there. It's there. So again, unless it's void, of course. What is that little thing when they say ask another time? Which you'll know.
Yes.
It'll have it at the top of the chart.
Right. So actually inside of seek.com, is there a horary chart in there?
No.
Okay, gotcha.
So horary is you can go look up the chart, right? So say if you have your question, Monday, July 1st, whatever time, you can go look at the chart and you can screenshot the chart or whatever. You can try to figure it out yourself, but there is no direction and there's no breakdown when it comes to you understanding. Like it has the regular breakdown for birth chart, but it's giving you based on that. Remember, that's a moment in time. That's not something that's going to keep changing. It's literally for that one moment. For that one moment. And so unless you just know how to do it, and it's not the same way that you would read a chart, just as far as telling the story, like that is a beginning and an end. That's not like, if you move here and you move this piece and then you do this, and because your birth chart is constantly turning. The energy is turning to see what fits you best.
I see.
Always.
And that's including like people want to move. What chart? What kind of chart is that?
That could be one of your questions. Yeah. You could see it as well in a solar return chart if you want to move, if there's a lot of energy in your 4th house. But then it could also mean that there's just a lot of energy going on in your private life. So maybe you don't get to move, but maybe you're having issues with moving. Maybe your house is not selling, or maybe it's going to be on the market for a while, or maybe something happens in the surrounding area that's stalling that. You can tell it. If that's something that you wanted to know, there are certain indicators that you can see in your yearly chart that you don't really need the horary for.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, you gotta find somebody who studies that.
I see. I
It's
see.
not
I just think it's so
not
cool. Like
it's so many layers to it, man. Like it's so much fun stuff. Again, it's more than just love and money, right? It's fun stuff. People have asked about, are they pregnant in that moment? Where's my cat? Where's my wallet? Like any question you can think of, you can do it. Like especially if you know how to do it, you can Google and follow the instructions. But shit, even I was like, man, this a little something else. But you can look up people do it all the time. They'll get online and they'll say, they'll get on Reddit and say, oh, I lost my wallet. This is where I left it at, but this is the question and the time I'm asking. And they'll put that chart online. Random people be like, have you checked behind the fridge? And be like, well, how do you know? They'll be like, oh, because this is in this house, and this symbol means this, and this symbol means that, and they have it in this. That could mean it could be in the backyard. It's just fun. Like
that is wild. Yes, even just for fun.
That's for fun, just for bullshit. Like
Yeah. Okay. All right. So did we finish the solar return? Are we good on that?
almost. I just have one more
Okay.
little piece.
'Cause
The
I'm
only piece I didn't show you guys was just how after you look at your solar return chart and you see the new energy that you're taking on for the year, there is another little piece. It's called annual perfections. Annual, we know that's a year. It's basically just it's not the full birth chart. It's just showing you how every year what house are you aligning to, which means that particular house will have overall themes throughout the entire year. Okay,
No.
so I just want
Is
to show
that on
that
my
piece.
chart?
Is that on your chart?
Yeah.
No, that's another feature. Hold on, I'm gonna hold on.
Okay.
Let me put it on the screen just so I can tell you exactly how to get there. Just so you want to check it out. All right, go ahead and drop that up there for me.
Okay.
Cool. Okay. All right. So remember how we already got here? That's two of the birth charts together. The orange is your solar. The blue is always you on the inside. Solar only. That's just letting me know that this is who I am going to be for the next year. I'm going to be a Gemini rising, which means this is what people will begin to associate these traits. They'll begin to associate me with these traits. Instead of my normal Scorpio, which is very reserved, very distant, I could seem like I'm not there. And so on and so forth for each of the placements. Again, my Leo sun never changes, and I'm also a Leo moon now. So I'll take on that energy for the year. All right. So we go up again into this orange section here to the right-hand side. I'm going to click on annual perfections. I don't know if it's going to let me go to the next page. If it doesn't, then just give me a second and I will click on it.
Sam is asking, is that like a progress chart or is that different?
No, it's not a progress chart. It's different. This is my bad. What we just looked at was your solar return, which is basically when your sun goes back to its natal position and the other planets have now shifted. So that's the energy you're taking on for the year. Progressed is different because in your progress chart, your moon doesn't move for, I don't want to say the wrong year, at least 2 or 3 years. Like your other placements are actually moving in the progressed. But the progress is like saying how we start out in as a Virgo moon. It'll say in about 2 or 3 years, then we're going to take on the qualities of being a Libra moon. And then the next 3 years, we're going to take on the qualities of being a Scorpio. And then so on and so forth. You don't change from being a Virgo moon. You just now need these qualities. I believe your sun sign moves every 30 years.
Oh, wow.
I don't usually look at the progress very often because it's so slow. But this is not the progress. It's not.
Okay. So when you say the sun sign moves every 30 years, do you mean literal? Or what it embodies?
No, in that specific chart. So in that specific chart, yeah. Us as well. Like, so every 30 years or so, you have to grow. You have to evolve. In astrology, your sun will move, right? Not like it's moving like you'll never be a Capricorn sun. No. Right. It literally just means you've now grown out of, you've already perfected this energy, and
I
you'll
see.
shift into the next sign.
Okay.
Most people only see 2 or 3 moves, but I don't watch it because it's so slow.
Uh-huh.
I'd rather the
I
ones
got
that are moving in the current energy that we're in, because that to me is present basically.
Okay, I got you.
I lost my little page. Okay. Hold on. Let me share that again. Okay, so what I'm showing you now on the screen, load it up from Boujee.
You got you. Okay.
Cool. So what you're seeing on the screen is after I have selected right here perfections and you on the right hand side. This is after I've selected it, right? So it brought this up. All it's telling me is as of February 10th, 2024, remember my birthday happened last year. It has not happened for 2024 yet.
Okay.
So this is showing me currently where I am, what house year I am living, which is broken down by age. So I know I'm a Scorpio ascendant, right? Remember that doesn't change. So that's my ascendant ASC. I know that's my first house. I haven't been in this house since I was 24. That was the last time.
Oh wow.
Every year, you move around 1 year. From when you're 0 years old, you are in your first house year. You're developing what? You're developing yourself when you're 1.
So hold on. So at 0 year, that's the baby soul year. You have not even come in. Girl, I love it.
So when you said in the first show and you said, "Oh, do you really choose your?" Yes, you choose everything. Yeah. So people say, "Oh, you chose the way you look." That does coordinate with astrology. You did. You chose the way you look. It's right here. Hold on. Charge it. Okay. So that again, ASC, that's my ascendant. Starts when you're 0 years old, and it moves around the chart. So when you're 1, you go into your second house. When you're 2, third house, 3, fourth house, and you go all the way around. You also have the planets here that let you know that that's the ruler of that sign. So as you can see, we know Scorpio is ruled by what? Pluto. But it is also ruled by Mars. It's 2 planets. So you're going to see here, because this was what? That was traditional. That's what they always used before. They always use Mars. But now they use Pluto, because they've managed to say, okay, well, now we know more about Pluto. Remember, Pluto's way out, their last planet. They've learned more things. And for them, they say, you know what? These sound like a lot of qualities that are related to Scorpio. So let's add both together. So again, each house, it'll tell you right here. I know my second house is ruled by what? Jupiter. It's telling me. I don't have to figure it out. It's telling me that's what it's ruled by. So whenever you get in these specific houses, right? No matter which one you're in, it's telling you what is ruling that house for the year. So for me, my 12th house is Libra. I know because Libra's right here. I know that's the only one that rules it. And there's Venus here, and there's 12th, because I know that's the 12th house. Also, I'm 35. So there's 3 things that are there that I know for a fact I'm always in the right time. So I'm 35 currently, so I know I'm in my 12th house year. So this is the sign I need to pay attention to the entire year. So right now we have Venus in Capricorn. And Capricorn, depending on where it is in your chart, that will let you know where you're getting the most comfort, where you could be potentially making money, where you could potentially find love. You could also be spending money. So every time Venus takes about, I want to say about 29 to 30 days to move through each sign, as long as it doesn't go retrograde, right? So I can place it every time it shifts down house and house. It's taking on a different energy. Of course, we know when it makes aspects to other planets, it's going to have a different energy, right? But I know for I need to follow that main one. So everybody said, okay, we have Mercury RX 4 times a year. Not saying I'm not going to pay attention, but if Venus is not going there, I know that my money won't be greatly affected unless it's touching a certain planet. So for
Okay.
a certain amount of days in the month, hell, I'm fine. My money ain't gonna be fucked with because I'm in that year. So this is a money year for me or a love year for me. And another predictive tip: once you guys get to this point, and yes, it will. This is based off your ascendant. The computer will do it for you, so you don't have to figure
Okay.
out anything. You don't have to do nothing. You just, again, I'm gonna show you the area you go to. You scroll up. Your information is already in here, so you don't take it out.
Mhm.
You're just
I
gonna
see.
select perfections and you go ahead and click on it. It's gonna automatically populate for you. Okay, and then this is just telling you where it originates from. This is Hellenistic astrology,
Mm-hmm.
and it's also medieval astrology. There's different forms of astrology. It's just
Mm-hmm.
telling you that this is who came up with this.
I
Your
see.
your ascendant sign won't change, right? ASC, that's your first house. Whatever the sign is for you will be on that first house. And depending on your age, that age house will be illuminated. It'll let you know what house that you are currently in. So again, I said I'm in my 12th house here, right?
Yep.
90% of the time, I'm home. 12th house is big hermit year. Big hermit year. Or that's the house that you start learning about your unconscious, or my dreams are now, more vivid if they weren't before. I could also be reliving past lives or running into past life partners. And I know it will be partners because it's ruled by Venus for me. Venus rules love, but it also can rule money in general. So I know that those themes are happening for me currently. And I know because it relates to Libra and Venus and 12th house topics.
Okay, let me ask you this question. So this chart that you have here,
Yes.
you talked about how old you were. Does those
Yeah.
numbers expand past that, or is it based on what you put into the feeder, the
No,
fields?
the chart automatically goes. So since we know that zero, your age zero,
Uh-huh.
starts at the ascendant, right? Right before the
Uh-huh.
last date of day would be 83 years old in the 12th house
Uh-huh.
here.
Okay, I see.
You would just,
Mm-hmm.
and once it stops it, you just continue. So it would be 84,
I see.
85,
I
86, and you
see.
just continue around. You just
Okay.
continue around. Because
Okay.
it, again, we know people have a nice expectancy,
Oh
but
yeah.
you just keep going around.
Yeah. Okay, so Sam had a question
Yes.
on Facebook. She says, "Does your appearance change based on which house you age? Does your appearance change based on which house you in age related? Does your appearance change?"
Yeah. Um.
You want her to rephrase that?
No. I understand. I want to make sure I answer it correctly.
Okay.
Well, yes, because the signs. Okay. I'm not versed in which signs is which, but there are some astrologers that believe that certain signs have a tendency to look younger, right? So I would, like, for instance, if I knew those signs, that I would say, oh, okay, well, I've seen in my expertise, I see that people that are maybe a Leo rising, they have a tendency to look younger. And maybe when they're 30, they look 20, or maybe when they're 40, they still look 31 or something like that.
Got you.
But also, too, each sign rules a certain body part. And so I'm not going to say, for instance, you're going to automatically have problems with a body part, but you can. So if we're basing it off that, we have certain signs like Virgo rules your intestines. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
not saying as you get older, you're going to develop those issues, but you may. So maybe you get your gallbladder removed or something. I mean, that will change your physical appearance. I mean, that will, now you have scars on your body that you didn't have before. So, I mean, if it's based on something like that, that has something to do medically with the sign, I would say yes. But just aesthetically, it depends on the energy that you're in for that year, I would say.
Okay.
Be a
So,
more safe answer, I would rather say.
okay, Sam, did that answer your question about appearance? Let us know. All right.
Yeah,
So
because
another question: what about people? So, say somebody is very thin and they want to gain weight, or someone is heavier and they want to lose weight. Is there a way to look into the chart for anything like that? Because I'm just thinking about that based on the question that she had.
look at your sixth house.
Six
Your
house.
sixth house is the house. It's your daily habits. And your sixth house is your health.
Okay.
So if we say, remember, don't forget about the polarity. So if it's sixth house, the other polarity is the 12th, right? And we know the 12th is ruling the subconscious. But if we know the sixth house is health, then if this is physical health, this is mental health on the other side, your subconscious, your mind. So you would say, just would say for losing weight or gaining weight, we'll just say working out, right? We know working out is a part of health.
Okay.
Whether it's working out for whatever the goal is up to you, but there are certain signs that do better in certain things. So, as an example, if you have Aries on the sixth house, I use the first sign. You have Aries on the sixth house, you're gonna tend to like workouts that are very fast. You don't want to work out for a super long time because the sign doesn't like it. It's a fire sign, yes. We know the initiate is something you need to initiate. So if you're familiar with HIIT,
high intensity training.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So if you were someone that has Aries on the sixth house, that will be something good because it's high intensity. Remember fire, right? Fire likes to be blazed up, and it's something that's pretty quick and it's intense because the ruler of Aries is Mars. Mars can be a bit intense, very passionate, has a lot of drive. So I would say that would be something for somebody with the Aries on the sixth house.
Okay, so I want to check mine out. I got Scorpio in mine. So what does that mean? I have Scorpio in my sixth house. So what does that mean?
Okay, so things related to like a spiritual aspect. So I would say yoga, meditation.
Slower stuff. Slower type. Is that like slower type exercising?
Well, if we're going by element, right?
Mm-hmm.
Scorpio is water. Water is formless, right? Because I mean, it can be solid. It can be flow. It could be fixed. Is what I'm saying. So I would tell you, how do you feel about swimming?
I love swimming.
How do you feel about water activities, right? So if you was to say no, right? I say, all right, well, what else can she do with water? How about water aerobics? But if you don't want to do the water, maybe you do something just with. I wouldn't even take you away from water though, because it would do so well.
Yeah, just so
well. I'm trying to think of an exercise with water.
I got you. So if I didn't want to swim and I like the water aerobics, it's better because either way it goes.
It's still in a control because Scorpio has an issue with control. And so it's still in a controlled environment.
Yes.
You are not like, swimming and going for what you know. No, you're standing up. You have control and you're just, working things out. Also, any planet that is a fire house too, you harbor energy, right? So think about like if you have fire in a building and if you don't let it out, does that make sense? Maybe not that analogy.
Okay.
So, I know what I want to say. I just don't know the damn analogy. But it's like, okay, for fire, like you need to let it exhaust itself out. That's what I wanted to say.
Okay.
So you don't let it bottle up. So if you have any type of fire sign on your sixth house, you need to burn that energy off, right? So the fire signs is Aries, Sagittarius, Leo.
Okay, gotcha. Okay.
So I would always recommend doing something physical. Now, like high intensity. I'm sorry. Physical. If it's Virgo on the sixth house, I would probably tell you to walk more. I would probably tell you to do gardening because again, it doesn't have to be rigid. It's something that allows you, if it's Virgo on the sixth house, it's something that you need to be able to follow in a routine.
So it could be constant. It didn't have to be vigorous, but it could be constant. Or
if you have aerobics, I think that's what they used to call them. You have an aerobics tape, right?
Yeah.
And it's like the stepping. It's not complex. It's just a routine that you can follow.
Yes.
And you just like that. I would say the Virgo on the sixth house. Because I think for most of the time we're looking for something complex. But you just need to stick to the element. And depending on where the ruler is, again, for the house, I'm just going off a sign right now. But if depending on where the ruler is, it'll tell you what would be
interesting. Yeah, I like this. I like this.
And again, that's your physical health, and it's not just your not just working out, but also to each sign rules something. Again, if it's the sixth house, Virgo, right? Your Virgo, people with Virgo placement, Virgos rule your intestines and your stomach. A lot of times their stomach hurts.
Mm.
A lot of times people who do have a lot of Virgo placements do have issues with their gallbladder, do have issues with waist. Although Scorpio rules the the backside, it's just your intestines, your anything you hold in.
Yeah,
So for your sixth house, you say, damn, I may have certain issues with digestion or gastritis or whatever it is. You will look to your sixth house and see what planet is there that maybe doesn't feel good there. Or see where that ruler is. It might be in a house that it's considered in its detriment. So it doesn't do well there. And it may help tell you, okay, well, there are some astrologers that do like remediation for the planet. It's basically how to make the planet happy.
Wow, so that's a good way to put it.
Yeah. So if they say you have a planet in a house that is not comfortable, and they'll tell you, oh, I recommend you start doing this. This would make the house comfortable. So like I said, in my chart, I have Saturn in the second house. Saturn is very restrictive. The second house is your money and your self-esteem. Like that can really fuck with a person when it comes to like your money. It may take me longer because Saturn is time to gain money, income, possessions, right? And because it's also the second house of self-worth, for some people, it may make them prone to depression. So somebody who does remediation, they'll say, okay, I know Saturn rules these other things. Remember, the planet rules other things other than just a trait. It could rule a place, an animal. And crows, the birds, are ruled by Saturn, right? Because it's another name for it, the crone. Also the witch. I don't know if you're familiar with certain allegories and certain magical stories. You often see a witch with the long nose, and you hear crows, or you'll see things about like they're all associated, in that mythology. So someone has told me before, how about on a Saturday, Saturn's Day, Saturday, how about you go and you feed some crows? Or would you go and you donate or feed the less fortunate or something like that? I've been told that before. Like I'm telling you an actual remedy that I've been told before.
Gotcha. So let me go ahead.
No, go ahead.
So let me ask you this. For example, like if a person wants to know whether or not they should get a pet, right? Maybe they think they're pet friendly and maybe they're not sure. Is there a placement in which one of the houses that would rule like pets and that type of thing? So they
pets is sixth house too. Pets is
sixth house.
It won't say good or bad, but it'll tell you what the animal will bring to your environment. A good or bad is subjective. I mean,
right. That's right.
Any animal can be, trained and
right.
But the sixth house will tell you about your pet.
So just for a recap on the solar return is the time frame from which when you were born.
Yes.
That it returns back whatever current year you're in at your birth time. So for me, this would be in my chart December of last year, right?
Yes.
Because
your birthday hasn't happened this year. Yep.
So I could look at my solar return for this year in December.
Yes. I mean, you can look at it at any time, but
but I'm just
not gonna start until Yeah.
Okay. What about? Let's see. Was there something else I want to ask for that? No, I think that's it. The midhaven. Do we want to talk about that for a minute or whatever?
Okay. Yeah. You can go there real quick. So your midheaven is it's the highest point in the chart. It can be anywhere in the 8th, 9th, 10th, or 11th house. And again, that is calculated in the birth chart analysis. They used to do all this stuff by hand. I don't know how. I'm not even sure, but I just use the calculator.
So 11th?
It can be in any of those houses. Okay. It can be in any of them. It's only going to be in one though. But I mean, I don't know. Unless I look at your chart, I can't. That's something I can't guess. Like I can't guess.
I got you.
Unless I just say, oh, based on the job that you have now. But again, you may not work for anyone.
Yeah.
That may be your public image, but then you may be an entrepreneur, which means the 10th house don't even really matter.
Right.
Your 10th house is your public image, but it can also be your, I hate to say matrix job, but it's if you still work 9 to 5, corporate, whatever, that's your 10th house. Yeah. If it's not a career and it's a 9 to 5, like you're not salaried, this is some shit I picked up, and
Yeah.
then that's 6th house.
Okay.
6th house. If you have a side business, it's 2nd house because that's the money you make on your income. 2nd house. So it changes from your income that you make, because you could make income doing shit, anything, selling CDs, movies, whatever.
Gotcha.
And then you have a snake. I sell CDs too. So then the 6th house is your 9 to 5,
okay,
right? And then your career, if you have that kind of career, or just your public image itself, is the 10th house.
Okay, gotcha.
But you can have your midheaven, which is the highest point in your chart. You can have it through any of those houses.
Gotcha.
I'm not, again, I wouldn't know which house unless I see your chart.
That's right. Okay. What about let's go over my chart in Regina King, because that's one of the celebrities we just have. Let's do that.
Okay, let me bring that up. Let me bring it up. Okay, whenever you're
ready.
Okay. You can see them both, right? Okay, cool. All right, so your chart is on the left and hers is on the right. So basically, I chose Regina because you guys have an air sign on your 1st house. Yours is in Gemini. This is yours to the left here, and this is hers to the right. So you both have them in air signs. Yes, Aquarius is the water bender, but it's an air sign. I ain't with that. That's what them people came up with. That's what they got.
Okay.
So it's basically you guys share similar qualities. You guys both are out of the box thinkers. You both are conversationalists, except for Gemini does it in a actual verbal way or written, and Aquarius just does it in a way of thinking only, pretty much.
Okay.
Aquarius is the innovator. It's a free thinker. They're eccentric. They're very witty. So if anybody has Aquarius on the 1st house, more than likely you're a person that tends to think very futuristically. You've probably come up with trends way ahead of their time. You were doing stuff long before everybody else, and then everybody else caught on, and then you were like, I gotta find something else. So that's why I ended up choosing this chart. And they're both in active signs. And they both share a certain type of Uranus influence. Also, you guys also have the North Node in your 1st house, not too far of degrees off, which means that this was a destined path to present who you are forward in the world. So, like, no matter what, you are meant to be seen. So, although your sun isn't in the 1st house, you have your North Node there.
What should point to that?
Oh, the North Node is right here in the 1st house. The horseshoe is down. Yeah. The end with the 2 little legs. You both have it in your 1st house, right? So this is a destined path. This was destiny. This was fate. This is purpose to be in the public eye. Except for, again, on the left, this is you with the Gemini. Your legacy will probably, again, more than likely will be more social, whether that could be in the form of something written, just something talked about, something on social media. It could be the way that you think. And if I want to know specifically what those topics are, I'll find the ruler of your Gemini, which is in the polar 7th house, right? Your 7th house is Sagittarius. We're still on your chart on the left. There is Mercury right here. 2nd planet. So if I wanted to know exactly what type of things you're sharing to the world, or what type of expressions and ideals that you have, I know that they're They're far thinking. They're far reaching. There's a deep philosophy. You could have even been a religious person, right? Religious, Christian, Buddhism, Taoism, whatever it is that you're into. I know that there's something that you've picked up that is not of your native land. That makes sense.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Got it. Okay.
Also too, I chose Regina because you guys are both Capricorn suns. Your Capricorn is here to the left in your 8th house, right? Okay, and hers is in her 12th house. Okay, so the difference between the two, by your sun being in the 8th house, whatever your sun sign is letting me know that you illuminate these topics in your life. At your core, your soul's core, you know these things so well. So I know that the topics, when it relates to the 8th house, you're going to bring these things forth. You're going to illuminate these things. So the 8th house, we know, is traditionally ruled by Scorpio. How do I know that? Because if you start from the 1st house, the 1st house is Aries. The 2nd house is Taurus. The 3rd house will be Gemini. The 4th house will be Cancer. The 5th house will be Leo. The 6th house will be Virgo. The 7th house will be Libra. The 8th house will be Scorpio. So I know that the Scorpio topics are underneath. So because I know that you have an illumination, or you came into this life to talk and illuminate about metaphysical topics. The occult is what we're discussing right now, which is astrology. You also have an air of mystery to you. And that's something that you just carry and you illuminate no matter where you are. And also that there's always something that can be dug, or you have a tendency to want to dig underneath the surface.
It's true.
Yeah. And if I'm still looking at your chart now. So if I am looking towards the ruler of your 8th house, which your 8th house is Capricorn, and we know Capricorn is ruled by Saturn. And your Saturn is in your 10th house. Your 10th house is what? Your career. That's your public image. You also have your MC here. That's your midheaven. Another word that I was taught by another astrologer, her name is Shirley Worley. She would say that the MC, your midheaven, that's God's plan for you. So wherever you have it, whatever house it's in, because again, it can fall between the 8th and 11th house. You happen to have it in your 10th. That's a pinnacle point. That's God's plan for you. That's the plan that He wants you to follow. So you have it, but the short blue line is 2 spaces away. That's the 1st house. You have 1, you have 2. It's at the very beginning, but those degrees are very short. You have 0 degrees on Saturn and 3 degrees on the sun. So I mean, it's very tight. So it took you time to get to this place. Also, it tells me if you have Saturn in 10th, you don't leave your jobs like that. Like, you're very reliable in your jobs, in your career. People see you have those qualities. They think that, oh, you're a stand-up person, that you're gonna see it through, you're gonna stick to it, no matter what you do, because in the 10th house, that's how people see you.
Okay.
So I know that when it comes to those qualities of the 8th house and the 10th house that are now tied together, that's why most people, they're coming to you for your expertise on those things. And what are those things that you're presenting now to the public? The 10th house is Pisces. I know that it has a spiritual aspect to it. Does it have to be spiritual? No. But in this case, because we know what you do, we're gonna use that trait because that's what we know it is, right?
Okay. Cool.
Yes, and so she has it in her 12th house. So what that let me know, yes, she still has the illumination and the ability to bring those topics out, because the 12th house, a lot of those topics are similar to the 8th, but the 12th is the introspective house, the subconscious mind, but also things that we don't see, things that are hidden. I don't know a ton about Regina King because we know her for being in the public eye, right? So it doesn't mean that she's only going to be in the public eye because her sun is in the 12th house. It just means that she's choosing to take a back seat to her son. So she would prefer to be, she does a lot of voiceovers and stuff like that. So we don't see her in the public eye. And although we know her name, we know who she is, we know the accolades, she always often says she does better directing and producing and all of those things.
That hidden thing, the background.
Okay, cool.
Man, that's so
And
interesting.
it is, and but outwardly, you guys do share a lot of the same qualities. It's the same sun. It's the same sun sign, but it operates in a different way. So though we see you, you love to be in the camera, right? So it's different for you, right? Because
Right,
you
right.
already embody those things. The eighth house as well too. The eighth house is a house of either pride or shame.
Mm.
So you're not really in a space of where you are shameful. You don't have any hard red aspects to your sun. You don't deal with those qualities. Not that it can't be there,
Right, right,
but
right.
you don't deal with them. As
Yeah.
opposed to somebody with a Capricorn sun, it's in the 12th house. That's a house of undoing. Something can happen to her, and the first thing she's gonna do is retreat.
Mm-hmm.
She's gonna step away. Like
Mm-hmm.
her son, I was reading that her son he committed suicide.
Yeah. She stepped back.
Um, she
She,
completely stepped out of the light again. She had disappeared, like with of course, obviously, but that's just something that she feels most comfortable doing.
mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Wow.
And another thing that I want to point out is you guys also share the same moon sign. You have your moon to the left of the chart, to the left. You have your moon in the 4th house.
Mm-hmm.
The 4th house is traditionally ruled by Cancer. And I know that because I counted from Aries, the 1st house, the 4th house will be Cancer. Your moon sign, the emotions, your intuition is going to feel so comfortable there because that is the Cancer house and it's ruled by the moon. So a lot of those placements there and a lot of things that I can point out for you, I know that it was magnetized for you because that's the comfortable house that it's in.
Mm-hmm.
And which we briefly discussed last time, what some of those planets meant to you. So I see Pluto in the 4th house, and I'll say that you were born into crisis. Now, whether it's like a literal crisis, I wouldn't know because it would have to be the time that you were born. So it didn't have to be literally in your home; it was in your immediate environment.
Gotcha.
So it could have been at an aunt's house, because the 4th house is your private life, but it could be, maybe your aunts were a part of your immediate family. They could have been in your home. I don't know who you live with, but when I
They
see,
were. That's crazy because my mother, my uncle, my aunts, we all lived in the same house when my mother was pregnant with me when she gave birth.
cool. So it's there, right?
Yeah.
How did I know that? I don't fucking know. It just kind of comes. It just kind of comes. Okay, so listen. So when I'm looking at the chart, right? So
Yeah.
I know that this house, your 4th house, has a lot of energy there because there is a stellium. There's more than 3 planets in the house. So I just know you grew up off the chain, like, and not in a bad way. It just was a lot of
Yeah.
fucking shit going on.
Right.
I
Right.
already know that.
Right.
My best luck is to ask you questions about that particular house. And because I know the moon is your mother, also your intuition, and Mars is a man. I like to say a man first, but if it's not a man, because we don't all grow up with a father in our home, which is whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But if it wasn't a man, I would say, okay, well, do you have a male sibling? If it's not the male sibling, then I say, you know what, maybe the Mars is just aggression or motivation, depending on how it's aspected, right? But when
Yes.
I see Pluto, I know that, again, I don't only use death and rebirth for Pluto. So because Pluto is also crisis, Pluto is also paranoia, Pluto is also fear, it's secrets. It's a lot of, and then it's in the 4th house, your private life, of course.
Yes.
Any of secrets in our private life. We grew up with our parents saying, "Don't tell nobody having outside our door." Like,
What
that's
goes
a
out your
thing,
house stays in my house.
right? And so when I see it in the 4th house, I'm like, okay, so it further helps me understand you being a Virgo moon, or why I say you grew up the way you were, or why you think the way you think, or how quickly your mind works than other people, or how fast you're able to analyze something because you grew up in some shit. And I know that it wasn't like something that was always planned because then I see Uranus there. Same 4th house now. Uranus is there. A lot of this shit was unexpected, unplanned, shocking. Nobody knew when something was gonna pop off in your
Right.
house. So I
Right.
already knew.
Right.
You was like, man, that shit just be happening, man. We were just living. It's there. I already know.
Wow.
I already know.
That's cool.
Oh, and then as far as Regina, before we close this out, she happened to have her moon on the right chart. She happens to have her moon in her 8th house, right?
Mm-hmm.
Again, I don't know her personally, so I can't ask these certain questions. but I would say maybe she's more private when it comes to her emotions. Only because in the eighth house is a private house, as well. It could be a house that is a little bit shameful, depending on her and how she acts. I can't say too much about her mother because when I looked it up, they said that her mother was a teacher. The eighth house is not a house for teachers. Usually, you see teachers with ninth house placements. But again, I don't know the mother to say yes or no, and I don't have her here to really say.
Right.
But I will say that I don't know if her mother's living or if she's passed, but the moon or certain planets in the eighth house, it'll tell me what you inherited or what you will inherit. So for the moon in the eighth, she could have an inheritance from her mother, or for another significant woman in her life. I'm looking at the moon sign, and I'm just assuming, right?
I got you.
But it doesn't have to be an inheritance through death. It could be something else. It could be what do you call it? The trust fund?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and people you don't have to die for that. So.
No, you don't.
Yeah.
It could be inheritance through overabundance of gifting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's the eighth house is overall other people's money.
Other people's money.
Other people's money. Yeah. It could be from like IRS too, because it's other people's money. Money owed to you, debt. That's the house of debt too. Now, whether it's your actual debt or like debt from another.
I see. Okay. Well, this was amazing once again.
This one was good. Listen. Y'all got the business in this one.
I know. I'm learning what you did.
Each time it's like
I know, right? And you so comfortable with it too, and you just be spitting it. Yeah, I love it. So I guess so if there's anybody in either of the chats, Facebook or YouTube, if you have a question about what she's talking about, you can put your question there. If not, we're gonna wrap up. Are we doing a part 4 around anything?
Yeah, I would just like to just let people see if they want to take a look at the way the synastry works. Because like I said, the astroseek.com, it will literally tell you, but they only do it in a romantic sense.
Yeah.
So they'll tell you if you and the person have a good percentage of compatibility when it comes to planets. But again, we know energy is ever moving. It's not 100%. It's just to tell you like, oh, maybe this person's Mercury is not in a nice reception to your Venus. So maybe when they speak to you about certain comforts that you have or that you are attracted to, they may need to try a different approach.
Yeah.
That's how we really tell you.
Yeah. I say let's do it. It'll be fun. I think it'll be cool.
Oh, yeah. Do that.
All right. And so I know we talked about, do we want to do kids or children or anything like that? If not, that would be number 5. If not, I guess the next person then would be your next of your 100 people. Did that change?
So the people that I'm working with right now, right? So the clients that I have run, it's only two more after you. But each one of you guys has something different. Like yours for the solar return, people may think this is taking a while, but it's not, because that's literally what I'm taking the time to do, to go through to give somebody a report, because I'm not using an automated system. Because I'm not using a system, it's not the 20 pages long, and I'm going through my mind and going through each of the planets and crossing over and going from chart to chart to chart, plus looking at whatever else may come up.
Gotcha.
And then the next client, she just had a very specific question on placements in our chart, and another personal question. Okay. And the last client is asking about something as it relates to, I believe it's in terms of like shadow work. Exactly what it is.
Gotcha.
So they're asking different things, and from there I'll be able to put up a price list, because it'll be, again, when I'm starting off, the 100 is just donation based.
Right.
I just want to be able to maneuver different ways, but it'll be based off, this is related to shadow work, this is related to like solar return and important key dates.
Okay.
And then this is based on like a rediscovery. If you just want to kind of know about your chart and how to know what this means, and how do I know what this means, and
Mhm.
like that.
Okay.
Yeah, I've had people that inquired though,
Mhm.
and I have given them prices, but that was before I decided to do the 100 chart thing.
Yeah.
And I think the 100 charts is just for me to work with people and see what other ways the energy is formed. And
Yeah.
then that way, like I said, I want to start doing classes because it's not necessarily about the money for me. You know,
Yeah.
it's just me doing it because I just like doing it.
Yeah. So just really quick. So first of all, let me ask key question. Keith's question was, how can I get in the 100 chart reads?
Oh yeah, send me your information, girl. Okay, so if anybody wants to get into the 100 chart reads, again, right now they're donation based, and I believe the donation amount is only $26. So again, I want to base it off of three things. So it'll be a solar return. It's going to be a placement interpretation.
Mhm.
Because again, somebody just wanted to know what it meant because it had certain placements. And then the last one is shadow work. It's going to take me a little bit to finish those because it'll be my first time ever looking at shadow work as it relates to that, because it's not like going around the chart. Because I need to know why this planet is doing this. Why is it not in a better receptive? What time of the year can I tell this?
There's that word again.
Oh, what one?
Receptivity.
Receptivity. Yeah, it's true, because you do have there's certain signs that are receptive, right? And they're the ones that we consider feminine, but they're not really that feminine. Based in astrology, yes. Because people always think, oh, it's Libra and Taurus, but not really.
Yeah.
Not
So
really.
you don't
Cancer is very receptive because it's a feminine sign. It's the moon, but it also fluctuates insanely.
So all feminine signs or more?
No. We have it's about. Hold on, let me see. I'm gonna tell you the correct number. I believe it's about 6 signs that are feminine. Okay, or are active, I'll say.
Okay.
Or receptive. Let me say receptive.
Okay.
Let me say receptive. So the ones that are receptive are Taurus, Cancer, Virgo, Scorpio, Capricorn, and Pisces. Those are considered receptive.
Let's see.
I don't know why. That's what them folks say.
That's what I'm saying.
So again, the 100 charts, you can look me up on Instagram at Worship Goddess Chris, all one word. And just DM me. Don't send anything. Don't send any money. Discuss it with me first so we can figure out exactly what you want, what you're looking for.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't have the money, you can still send it to me. I'm still going to add you to the list. Again, if you want to send a donation, you can, because it's not really about the money for me. It's not.
Yeah.
It's a mental thing for me. I am a Virgo Mercury. I cannot help it. Like, so if I feel like I'm a smart ass, I have to actually be a smart ass and like make sure I'm working on the craft and do it live. Because believe it or not, we're all living the same life in different times.
Okay. With that being said, are you saying, since it's donation based, the donation minimum $26, are you saying that they need to go live for the learning purposes?
They don't have to.
Oh,
I will leave that up to the person.
Okay.
So if you say, and again, is anything that I do for you, you'll already be sent your chart before. You know, you read through it. I tell you read through it. I tell most people to print it out because most of the time you want to like learn and grow. And if I'm telling you certain things, you're jotting down your notes to the side.
Okay.
So you'll have your report beforehand. If you just feel like maybe if the person has a platform and they just want to say, hey, I received this and I want to share, then yeah, but not really. You don't have to. Because the one with the chart interpretation, not the solar return, but just like the placement, there's no need to do a video. I can just type it and send it. The only one that takes time is a solar return. That takes time.
Yeah.
And as far as the shadow work, once I type it out, there's nothing really to sit on and video in.
Okay.
Unless you just want to know about astrology and you would like to know my process.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you want me to share this 100 with the platforms that I have? Okay. Now, I just have I think I asked this last time. Will you do any videos around funny shit that you find out?
Yes. The person has to see I can see certain things, but the person has to confirm. I was looking. Okay, I'm gonna tell you one instance, right? So,
Okay.
I was looking at this guy's chart, and he had Scorpio on the second house. I believe he was a Libra ascendant. Yeah, he was a Libra ascendant. So he had Scorpio in the second house. He had Venus in the second house, right? So I was like, oh, when I see Venus, right? Venus is your comforts, that's money. So the first thing I thought about, because is a man. I don't know him, right? This is like
Right.
the first day I met him. I don't know nothing about him besides his name.
Okay.
So I said, have you ever paid for sex? He was like, what? And I was like, because Venus is things you pay for, comfort, right?
Shut
Right?
up.
Okay. And Scorpio is a sign, remember, it rules the 8th house of all of those topics. Now, sex is one of those topics from the 8th house that Scorpio rules. Even though it's not, I'm not on the 8th house, I'm on the 2nd. So I'm thinking about the things that will maybe perhaps affect your self-esteem or your self-worth, right? So I'm like, you pay for sex? He said no, but I knew he was lying because I just knew it. I can't prove how I know he was like. It's there in the chart.
Yeah.
Even if you never directly did it,
Yeah.
you did it. You left that money on a nightstand.
That's the same thing. Kind of. We didn't say she a streetwalker or a prostitute. You saying
Yeah, it's an assumption people do that. Yeah, like
That's
okay,
right.
if you went on a date and you knew you were gonna get lucky, yeah, shit like that be happening. But the person has to be like, they have to be open to it, right?
Okay.
I mean,
Yeah.
you gotta be, and that's the thing about astrology. Like the person has to be honest. It makes no sense if I'm asking you, "Hey, I see this in your chart. And, did this happen in your home?" And you're like, "No, not me, because I can't really help you because then you're not being honest."
That's
Even
right.
though
That's right.
you have to tell me yes or no because I can. Again, every astrologer is gonna see that energy. Not that we all don't see it similar,
Right.
but there are still other interpretations, right? Other impressions. And so if I say, oh, I happen to see this because I think this way, remember my Mercury is different from yours. So I think this way. And so if I see it, I feel like this. But you tell me no, and it could be true, you're now messing with my fucking mind because now I'm not really sure how to interpret this because I know you're not being honest.
Right.
No, you're not. I see the energy.
Doesn't that help you also when they are not more, but if they're honest, because it's just you and them, and they like it's the whole world as they want it to be. But doesn't that help you to drill down even more?
Yeah, I'll come back to it. I'll come back a different way. So if they say no, he never spent money on sex, okay, cool. But again, I said he was a man, so it was so much.
Gotcha.
It was easy. Now, if it was a woman, right? Okay, it was a woman, right? So
she could have been what do you call them women that pay the young? What do you call them? Oh damn.
The madams?
No, they called a damn sugar mama.
Yeah. Or yeah. Okay. So see, that could have been that could. Now see, if the person would have told me, no, I never, but I, I'm okay.
The daddy
I see it. Because I would see it, right? Or if they had Jupiter there in the second house, they don't even have to be Venus. It could have been Jupiter. That they greatly benefit from their self-esteem or their self-worth, or just their income.
Right.
But it's coming from a scorpionic place, which people like to say it's a secretive. It's a hidden element. It's taboo. So that's also why I chose sex, because for other people it's taboo. Now, did it have to be? No. The person could have just been like worked in a funeral business.
Yeah. Okay.
Or somebody that does life insurance. It didn't have to be that particularly. So I want to say that it didn't have to be. It's just for some reason that's the first thing that came to my mind. So astrology doesn't do that, but does it have to be? No, it don't have to be.
Yeah.
When you share that 100 though, don't share 100. Share like I want to take 5 people, because if I do 100, they're gonna flood it.
Yes,
and
I know.
I'm already like really up and down when it comes to working. I only work. Let me tell you, if you order something from me, y'all, I work in ebb and flows. I do not make myself do a fucking thing, because if I make myself, I don't do it.
All right. So the best way for me to put it would be, if you're interested in seeing what your astrology chart could look like with no definitive time frame, because there's nothing that you need to know right now.
Yeah.
Let me know 5 people. We're going to gift 5 people because they don't know what gifting is, but you give it. Yeah. Sure. The donation, I'm going to give a donation now because I'm just saying that's just what I do, because I believe in that return of polarity, etc. Right. $26 to find out these things. Now, the time frame that you may get it, we could say, I don't know, within
It
the
never goes beyond 2 weeks unless
okay.
my cycle be on.
Okay.
You're on your own. Because okay, so TMI, whoever listening, mind your business. Okay, so my cycle is on now, right? And
Yeah.
so this is considered white moon. I should be resting. Like
Yes.
I live by that shit also too, because why? My chart. I know
Yes.
that because a lot of my degrees are based under the moon. They're based under the Cancer degrees. So
Yes.
because of that, I flow with the moon as well. A lot of things. So
Yeah.
because I am aware of that, like when it happens, I will completely fucking haul ass. I hate to say it, but it's like I work in ebb and flows, and because I have suffered from that perfectionism,
Yeah.
it'll make me not do something. Like it'll be like, okay, not so many people are asking you, so now you get like that little voice in the back.
Yeah.
And I do have an inner voice, y'all, and the shit be talking.
Well, and that's crazy that you say that, because some people are thinking when we say that it's a time frame that you would get it. For me, I don't like my time controlled, which is prevented me when people want to collaborate with me. Like, nah, because I do it when I want to, and that's not always good, because I could do something, but I think it also has to do with whether the energy matches or not, right?
Yeah, that matches too. There are some people things that like you and the 2 other clients that I have now, I'm a little bit more eager to do it because I haven't done it. Like those are things that I haven't done. So I want to do it. I want to see if I can figure it out. Not just for them, for me, because I want to be able to. There is a certain with astrology. There's like a certain recipe, right? For all things. I have never found a shadow work in somebody's chart besides telling them what's happening in their life and what happened before. So if something is extremely new to me, I have to be able to work it out without somebody stressing me about, oh, what are you doing? You're gonna be waiting.
Yeah.
If it does get, I try to go past 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Which I feel like is reasonable time. And also too, this is the first time that I'm offering it to the public. So when it's just me, I'm just like, if somebody said, oh, look this up, I'm like just looking at it, just going through the time, and then I'll send it back to you. But I'm not digging because the person is asking something very specific. So I can't do my float around the chart the way I, would like to. But if you're asking me, so what's gonna happen on January 6th, this year, that time, nothing may happen then. But what you're asking me, I'm gonna have to go into like an Empress, which is this thick ass book. I'm gonna tell you what it looked like. Let me see if I can.
She looked like a medical school book, baby.
This one is an astrology. This is an original astrology book, right? And I'm gonna actually start. I think I'm gonna put like an Amazon page with like the books you can get.
Yeah, that'd be great.
So an
you know what? Maybe you should. What about an affiliate links?
Oh, I think you can do that with the Amazon.
That's what I'm saying. You could do an affiliate link on your page.
Yeah, I can do that.
You got to sign up for it. You know what I'm saying? But it's pretty simple.
Like an Empress is basically like, the Farmer's Almanac.
The encyclopedia. Yeah.
I'd have to look through that because I'd have to find when is this planet gonna happen to touch this planet again. Like that should be taking time. I know people think that it's quick. It can be, but these are people who are using systems. I'm not using a system. I'm going by hand. So it does take me time. It takes me time. Yeah. Again, also too, I respect my body's rhythms because
that's right.
I also I'm into a lot of different shit. So I'm looking at the day you was born. The day you was born coordinates with a card, a specific card. I'm looking at that because I'm looking at the attributes you have for that too. Okay. Right. And I'm looking at what type of energy, like you said, the energy has to be cohesive. So I'm looking at what can I offer you? What will our energy produce? I'm looking at that too. I'm not just looking at astrology. You know what I'm saying? So for me, it's a lot. It takes time. So people, you look at the chart. I'm looking at 10 different damn things because I know that I'm interested in all of those things, not just astrology. I like occult knowledge in general.
I got you. Okay. Now, one more question.
Yeah.
What is it looking? Oh, have you seen the visual? Have you visualized? Put it on your canvas yet? What will the classes look like for those of us that are interested? And I ask only reference for myself because this is something that I can incorporate in what I do. Because I know you said about teaching. You just don't want to just be doing charts like that. But the class is more about teaching you to do the work.
Yeah.
So have you seen what that could look like, or have you? Or you just
I thought about constructing I want to say like a little school where it's like self-paced. But most people need somebody to say, hey, am I doing this correctly? Because self-assurance is a thing for most people, most planets people have, depending on your chart. But that's another thing that I said. I'd rather just keep it personal. And then if you want to learn about the general topic, we know the topic of love is a big one. The topic of money is a big one. But I want to focus on shadow work, healing, maybe healing a specific place in your chart. Again, we'll do planet remediation. If that planet is in a placement that it's not the most comfortable. We have to say comfortable because
yes,
that's the truth. It's
right.
The planet's not comfortable there.
Okay.
So we'll say that. So things like that. I ain't gonna lie, I ain't even think that far ahead because I'm just showing up.
Just cool because you gotta. Will that be after you do the 100 or?
It will be for sure after the 100.
Okay.
Yeah, after the 100.
That's what's up.
So yeah, again, this is things that I was doing just for me, honey, just for me in my life, and then as I'm presenting it to the public, the 100 is also to just further perfect the craft, further just learn and move and push other things in, because I would only look it up for people in work, school, random stuff. I was not gonna bring this to the public because I know how I am. I've never ran my own business. So I'm also trying to pace myself and not get overwhelmed, because I will say, fuck it. I am a fire sign, y'all. And I'm a Scorpio rising. It's not difficult because I have a different energy with you, right? Comfortability. But I'm a type of person, I sit in the back. Even though I'm a Leo, right?
Yeah.
I sit in the back because it allows me to observe everybody, to see everything.
But you're doing such a fabulous job. Like, I am loving this.
I'm working on it. If anything, I feel like I'm in this space of where there's so many things that I want to create. I just don't know where to begin or like what it looks like for me, because this is
a Virgo moon.
It is, but this is also the first time in my life that I've ever actually done something, and I don't think people can. Well, I won't say not relate, because we're in a society now, where it feels like, yes, I've always had a job. Yes, I've always worked hard. Yes, I've always paid for my own things. But as far as like something that I feel like is my own lane, no, I'm not the only one that does astrology, but I mean, like, for me, right?
Yeah.
My family, my house, my friends, I'm the only one that does astrology.
Yeah.
I feel like this is my lane, and so this is very new for me.
Yeah.
It's important that I don't overwhelm myself, because this is not something that I just can turn and do. This is real mental work.
Right.
I have to literally go back and reread a lot of the books that I read 2 years ago, because if you don't astrology, if you don't use it, you lose that shit.
Yeah.
It must be practiced every day. Every day.
Okay. So it sounds like you might have, or maybe a running list, and you'll let them know when you get to them and check them off.
I've had one started.
Cool. All right. Just want to see how to present it to people.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, we can chop that up and figure that out.
I'm so proud of your ass. I don't even fucking know what to do, baby. I'm just saying.
I know they be like, God damn, girl, you ain't go. I don't know.
You here now.
That's all I say. I'm just showing up. Because if I get in my mind, let's not even do it. Let's not even.
When you pushing along and showing up in such a beautiful way, and it is absolutely a good idea not to overwhelm oneself. I think 5 is a decent list. Even if you end up with 10, I will make that very clear that it's 5 is donation based. Do you want me to say the minimum is 26, or don't say it? How do you want that?
Don't add it.
Yeah, because that's work, mental work. And
yeah.
Not to seem like, I know that you enjoy doing it and it is mentally stimulating for you, but it is also energy work in exchange for something. So it's important, because people will give you $5.
Yeah. And it's a service, right? And so I feel like you should, anything you get service, you should tip. You should definitely, I believe in that. It's an energy exchange in some type of way. Some people who are not able to do it, I definitely get it. But at least if you can't, then I'll say, okay, we'll share the video. That's the same energy exchange, right? For
Yes.
people I can't patronize on, on Instagram, I'll just keep reposting their stuff, or I'll,
Yeah.
because if I can't,
Yeah.
I can't buy it. Don't mean somebody else can't afford it, or may not
Absolutely.
like it.
Absolutely. I get you on that. And yeah, I get you on that. Okay, well, I think that's it. Keith, do you have any questions? Tanya, do you have a question? Not a I don't know, I'm not for sure kind of question. Do you have a definitive question? Rick Spot, you got a definitive question? Because she can, anybody else online, on Facebook, on Instagram, not Instagram, YouTube. If you have a question, go ahead
We'll
and
be
put
back
it.
next time too.
You want to do questions next time?
No, I'm just saying we'll be back next time too. So
Oh yeah. We'll be back.
Can come up.
Okay, so we'll be back for part 4. So if you have a question, and real quick, I should say real quick, but if you have one, put it in the chat, and we will get Christina to give some insight on it. And I want to say while that's happening, to say thank you so much for going over my chart, agreeing to do it, agreeing to go live. I just feel like a little proud onesie, you know what I'm saying? Like,
when you said that, I was like, well, I ain't no punk, man. I'm gonna do this thing. I was like, so she just gonna ask me, like, in front of like my computer, she's gonna ask me to go on live. I was like,
I know.
I always say no though.
I know, but I feel like I was supposed to do it, but I think didn't I do it? I did it gently, did I not?
No, it wasn't. Again, this is what I do too. When I read anybody's chart, I am mentally stacking my chart onto yours because I want to know, can I offer you something that's going to be useful to you? That is a big part of why I do this. Like, I need to know what energy am I giving to you, because my delivery may be too harsh for you. So I may need to scale it down when I'm talking to you. Yeah. Or if I know you have a soft spot for your mother, or it's some type of friction there, I probably won't talk about it a lot. Like, because I know that we have our triggers. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I can look at certain people's charts that, say a part of our soul tribe, because I'm gonna do theirs anyway if they want to do it. Yeah. But I'll look at certain placements and I have to word it gently, because that's real fucking trauma, whether they heal from it or not. That's things I got to be real careful with. That's right.
And I think, and I will say this to anybody that comes across the video and watch it. Before you get started, she always asks, because there's something that you don't want me to speak about, right? And she wants, her ethics are just bar none. And I think that's amazing. I was just an open book, but I did appreciate asking, because people do have triggers, and some people don't want to be triggered on a live. If they do it, you get to all the stuff and you get here and they're like, whoa, I totally forgot. So I guess a good question could be, do you have any triggers around anything?
Right.
And if you see it, you know what I mean? So you did a fantastic job. I appreciate the way if you needed to coddle in a way, even if I didn't know you were coddling me, I appreciate you doing it or whatever. But I just want to say that this makes me want to look more at my shit. And it makes me want to be like, okay, well, let's talk about so-and-so. Can we do that? And I hope that you could kind of like be like a regular guest on my channel.
Oh, hell yeah. Listen, we have a little fun.
Okay.
I love this.
Okay.
I'll be giving, listen, if y'all didn't catch the first one, catch part 1. I dropped a lot of little gems, especially for women. Like,
yes, you did.
This has to be beneficial for us in some type of way.
That's right. That's right. Even if they're long, at some point I may go through them and do the I will do it by chapters, what was discussed here. Even if we kind of like all over, and that's okay that we're all over from time to time, because when it comes up, you want to kind of discuss it if we don't have an agenda. And we didn't have an agenda other than we're just going to discuss my chart. And then we begin to have an agenda on the 2nd.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which sometimes it happens like that. So that's cool. What Keith say? Keith say, the same with me. They had me pulling Chris on IG. Chris was like, no, and ghost.
That's the Scorpio rising. Like, okay, and another thing too is when you have your sun in the 10th house and it is not in a nice aspect to your first house planet.
Yeah.
You battle. It depends on what the planet is, obviously, but we know Scorpio likes to be hidden. They like to hide, and so I ain't doing it on purpose. It's just I'm so used to hiding.
Yeah.
Even though, I'm very Leo and I like to be performative, but I wait until people actually know me.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. You sit in the back, you scoping people out.
Yeah. Because your first house always protects your sun. Everybody don't get to see the sunshine.
Like that's a nugget right there. Your first house protects your sun.
Yeah. All of those little sayings we used to say back in the day, like this shit really be relating to astrology. It really does. When we say, oh, men marry their mother, it's because in astrology they always tend to fall with the moon, which is represented by the mother.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, Charles.
Well, I have enjoyed today.
Yeah, it was great.
It was great. It's great. It's been great every single time.
Yeah.
We get the jewels, we get the nuggets, we get some knowledge, etc.
Yeah.
And I'm excited about the next one that we do, etc. And we can do it on a
whatever day.
Yeah, it happened to be raining, and I had some stuff that I need to do, and you get stuck out there taking care of stuff, and I was feeling stuffy, and I was like, oh my God, I really intended for this to be up in the daytime, like 1 o'clock ish on a Saturday. So
and the Super Bowl tomorrow too. I mean, I don't watch, but
and I didn't think about that because it is tomorrow. And I got something planned for tomorrow. All right, so let's stick with Saturday because Sunday is always the day before work or whatever. Let's stick.
Yeah, that's cool.
Unless you have something to do, because I'm on your schedule. Okay. So we'll work on Sinistry for next week.
Yeah, next time. I'll show you how to bring it up in AstroSeek.
Okay.
But for AstroSeek, it's going to show us in a way for how it looks for couples, because it's going to give you like the love breakdown. And again, it's only compared to the placements. That's not your active energy.
Okay.
But if you wanted to see if you and someone, what's the compatibility as far as chart placements are concerned, it gives you like each breakdown and the percentage. It'll tell you roughly.
Yeah. Okay.
Just to see how it is, we can also check out astro.com, which is another chart calculation.
Okay. Astro with a D? Astro?
No, Astro. ASTRO.com.
Gotcha. Okay.
And that's just another calculated system just to show you same way all of those breakdown. It's not as neat, and it doesn't break your chart down with explanations.
Okay.
But you can use that as just another calculator. There's so many sites.
Yeah.
But I like AstroSeek because if you don't know anything at all, you can just scroll down. It's going to tell you what each house means. You just read it. You just read about yourself, and nobody knows you better than you.
That's right.
You can say, "Oh yeah, this is me," or "Oh, I haven't experienced that," or maybe another, Capricorn. They say, "Oh, I saw somebody do that," or
Yeah. And I will say this: even though we planned for this time to be like an hour and a half, and right now we're 2 hours and 17 minutes, we cannot help it. It's like we're being guided divinely of what needs to come up. Those who want to watch it can watch it. Those who don't won't. Or they'll watch a certain part. Some people will fast forward, whatever. But I will do my best before the next one to try and start to
break it up in segments.
Yeah, so they can click on what they want to hear about, etc. And there may not be every single section. If you want that, you got to watch the whole video. But some things that may be major that they want to know about, I'll do that.
Okay.
All right, sis. Listen.
Good.
Thank you again, everybody. Thank you that showed up. Oh, and by the way, please go by and make sure you go to Sun Goddess Astrology. Please like her video and give her a thumbs up. And I know I'm not really one that, I didn't get a thumbs up. I didn't get a like. I don't really care about that. Whoever going to do it for Keith, not for Keith, for Keith too. Shit. Okay.
Going over there, Cosmic Keith.
Cosmic Keith. Okay, Oracle LLC, and give her a thumbs up.
Look, Crimson Sound, Trust Cosmic Channel, Reiki Spot. Who else? Teach Balance.
Reiki Spot going to do it. I don't think Tanya have one. Tanya don't have one for Teach Balance. Okay.
You hear that? Make your page now.
You know what I think I might do? I think I might in my videos, the core circle, those that have channels, to put them down in there in case they want to know something about it. In the description.
That'll be beneficial.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so I might just do that. I think that would be very beneficial. You know what I'm saying? So y'all, if you're looking for a reading outside of myself, we share the space up in these motherfucking streets.
Yeah, because there's plenty of money for everybody. We all in our own lane.
You got Cosmic Keat, Oracle LLC. Go over there to her. Get your reading. She's on TikTok and she's on IG. And she's over here on YouTube. Okay. I co-sign. Just so you know. And if you're interested in bracelets that are being cosmically made, these right here, amazing crystals, some that people don't even know about, to find out what those energetically are about, what they cover, etc. You want to go over to Trust Cosmic Channel. Okay. She channels, Keep channels. We all channel. Okay. We all channel. We all family up in this motherfucker. Okay. All right. Some people don't want to read for someone. The energy is off. And they may say, Boujee, can you?
Yeah, take this person.
And that's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair. And I've had that happen before. Boujee, can you do a reading for so and so? We just ain't there. And that's okay, because your team knows that, their team knows that.
Right.
Okay. So that's okay. And who else? Okay. So if you're interested in singing bowls, right? If you're interested in that, go and check out Crimson Sound Therapy. Is that
Yes.
it? I'm going to list everybody in the thing, because listen, it's love everywhere.
Oh yeah.
The money is everywhere. Now I will say that Keep charges. I definitely charges. Charge for the bracelets, but however,
Period.
the information that you get is just vast, right? It's just the difference between energy. Check them out and see what you like. If you like them, subscribe. And if you like them, shit, like it. Leave a comment, leave an emoji like, bitch, Keith, you bad. Okay, trust you bad.
It's something for everybody,
It's something for everybody. Everybody's personality is different. And you know what? I ain't even fucked up with it. Or I wouldn't be saying it. If I was fucked up with it, I wouldn't even be giving it. I don't give a fuck. Okay. So I'm saying we have sisters that have amazing energy who I actually co-sign. And that's on period. Okay. And I don't co-sign for everybody. I definitely co-sign for Cosmic Key Oracle LLC, of course, Sun Goddess Astrology, Crimson Sound Therapy, Trust Cosmic Channel. All right. So with that being said, there's a place for everybody. There's a different personality for everybody. Okay. Right. That's all I got for y'all. Thank you so much again, Sun Goddess Astrology.
Thank you guys.
Yes. So even if you don't go by and watch somebody's video, go by and just subscribe. It helps them. Again, anybody that comes across my space, I do not confirm the validity of them unless I've had experience with them. And that's where I am, because there's no falseness over here. So therefore, I don't approve falseness. And if it's something that seems not ethically okay, I'm not even mention.
Yeah, not in line with it.
No, that's not even alignment with who I am, All right, y'all. Y'all have a beautiful day, sis. We will later. All right.
All right.
Take care, y'all.